or like real like heavy makeup. I don't know, but like the faces always look AI. But maybe that's just how they look. But or maybe they did use AI. I don't know. But the video definitely looks good. Like the shots, like the color grading, like it changed scenes a lot. The ballet, the fire, um, this like this like blue and orange contrast. We'll talk about that. And yeah, I liked it. This was a cool video. Um, nice. Okay. So a lot of music videos, and we'll talk about music videos. We'll talk about how to make one and how to put one together. Uh, it's not as hard as people may think, and we're definitely gonna experiment with it and see uh, what how we can make music videos. Because some people like editing videos, and that's their thing. So I know for me, music videos are fun to edit. Some people don't editing music videos because it's a lot of work and it's a lot of like creative uh, work you got to put into it, coming up with an idea, editing it, making sure it looks good, color grading it, fixing the audio. So it's a lot of work. Um, but uh, but yeah, okay, nice, nice. How about you, Keena? You've been seeing anything good or any videos or movies or shows that caught your eye or anything recently?
I watched this show. I forgot what it's called. Like a five. It's like a superhero. Like they at a school and it's like a lot of them in fighting and stuff. I think it's called Five. It's Super Five. And they like got fighting powers and stuff. Like if they want to do that, pick up rock. But I know they use a lot of effects on them.
I'm trying to see what you're talking about. It's a show.
It's a show. It got episodes to it, but it's like a movie. Like it's a girl that could turn into a smaller girl, and it's a dude that could be fighting.
Is it called Sky High?
No, I know that movie. I know it's called.
Is it Umbrella Academy? You said five. Um, Let me see. Where'd you see it at? On like Netflix or regular TV or?
Yeah, it was on my notes.
Dang, I wonder what's this called. Because that'll probably tie into what we're gonna talk about actually. Amazon Prime. It's like live action, like it's actually people.
Yeah, they fight. They at college. They at college. Playing college.
It's on Amazon Prime. Okay. I have Prime. I don't know why. Yeah, if you find it, let me know. You said something like five.
Yeah, something like five. That's super.
Okay. Well, yeah, let me know if you find it because I want to know what that's called. It sounds interesting. It sounded like Sky High when you said it, like, but I know that's not that. But yeah, they definitely use effects if it's a superhero show. Um, I wonder how the visuals were. Like, was it cheesy or like good or not? So I'm curious because depending on the visual effects company that worked on the movie or show, it can go either way. In my opinion. But okay. Okay. All right. Well, today, um, we'll see how much time we get through, but I want to talk about two things.
It's called Jim.
Oh, Gym 5. I just saw that on here too. I saw it right here. Gym
Yeah,
5.
that's Jim. Yeah. Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
there's the people from the boys.
Yeah, there's a story she killed her mom and beginning on accident. She was lose her power. Her sister witnessed.
Is it good?
Yeah, it's over. You gotta watch it.
Or if this says one season, but they saying it's from the same people who made the boys, so that's another like superhero show. Yeah. Um. Okay. Yeah. If they're from the same creators from the boys, I already know it's good effects because I used to watch that show and it was good. It was good. Let me see. I think I have Prime. Yeah, I do. So let me see if we're not gonna watch the whole thing, but I just want to see. Take a.
When emergency strikes, first responders are the first ones in. But on outdated networks, the crucial technology they depend on is limited. That's why T-Mobile created T-Priority, the only solution built for the 5G era that can dynamically dedicate up to 10 times the capacity for first responders. T-Priority, built for tomorrow's emergencies. Ready today.
All right.
They keeping his brother hostage. He think his brother dead, but his brother really under like the college hostage.
Okay. So they're trying to get him.
When did it start?
4 or 5 minutes ago.
I'm trying to get this thing out the way.
It's okay. I'm here.
Did you know about this Compound V stuff?
No.
How can Mom and Dad do that to us?
They thought they were giving us powers.
Well, I got a lot more than powers. I got a broken fucking brain! I could have just been regular.
I got news for you. Drug or no drug, you'd still be weird as fuck. None of that matters. What matters is I'm your brother. And I love you. Okay?
Sam! Stop it! Okay? No! Sam!
Okay. Wow.
Stand up! Get the fuck on the ground now!
Sam.
Call for backup. Yeah, call for backup.
Sam, go to sleep.
Jesus, fuck, are you okay? You wouldn't wake up.
Okay. Oh, interesting. All right. I'm gonna check this out. Because I remember watching The Boys and the effects actually was crazy. I was not expecting. You need to see that one. That's this is in the same universe. So the stuff they talk about in this is in a book. Because like the boy, yeah, that came out first before this. So I'm sure they made this as like a spinoff of that. So, but yeah, okay. Because when I heard Compound 5, I'm like, that's what they use in the boy to get them that. Yeah. Okay, cool. Okay, I'm okay. So yeah, so just real quick, we're not gonna watch this whole thing right now, but a couple things I wanted to just point out though about this show that caught my eye already. was the color grading and the way that the shots were and this like blue green tint that came out. I think that was cool. I like the so far the acting's pretty good. Like I said, the color grading, the effects, the lighting, like that scene right there is just crazy.
How they, but that's probably like a green screen. His hand is going through it.
So my guess is two things they could have done to get this type of shot. So notice they didn't show his whole body in this scene, so you can't really tell hand. So they could have used a fake hand with blood and put it in his mouth. That's one option. Or the second option is they use CGI, like visual effects, like they created a hand and computer and put it in. But that looked
like, you know, like the hand could probably be like too out of the mouth. Like how would they know to get like?
well, that's they know how to do that stuff. Yeah, but my first guess is that it's a hand that they put in his mouth and just covered it with blood because it looks really realistic, and I don't see how this could be CG. Like it doesn't look like CG, but it can be because they didn't get any other shots like this. That probably is just a hand, like that they found and like or like made and put in his mouth. But it also could be really good CGI. But my guess is that it's like a fake hand. That's my like number one guess, but I could be wrong. And then they just put some fake blood on it because we don't see him in any of the shots with his hand and his fist, like his body and his fist together. So that tells me that it has to be like that. Because now, if they would have showed him like a wide shot of his hand in there, then that would have made me believe, okay, maybe it's some. That's just like a effect, like a like so like this part. Hold on. So like that part where they put, I'm guessing they just had something right there. It wasn't even his actual arm, just something that looks like an arm, and just pulled it out, but like obviously didn't stick him in his body for real. They probably had like glued to him and put out, and then they cut to this shot real quick to make it seem like it's an arm. So camera tricks can make stuff look, you know what I mean? Like, but you wouldn't even you would think how did they do that? But when you actually break it down and realize, okay, they made certain cuts, they had the time to make certain things look real. But guess what? That's the video editing that made it look good. Like also the acting and the makeup, but I mean the director and writer probably said, okay, like this will want to happen now. Try to make it look as realistic to that as possible because they can't obviously, do that. But like I said, it'd be really impressive though if they didn't make any cuts. If we saw him do that from far away and then pull it out, that would be impressive because it's like, okay, now they actually did that in a shot. And I was like, okay, how real was that? But since they cut it up, see, look, it's like multiple shots. Here's the first one, like, so here's one, boom, like, here's another one, and then they swivel over to that, and then they cut it back to her, cut to them, and then cut back to this. So it's no like real shot of seeing his whole arm with his body, like showing a full shot. So that was my guess was intentionally to make it look realistic. So that was I like the way that they did that. I like that. And I like how red contrasts like his pale skin, like they really make it look gory. Then it had like the red on her hair, the blood from her hair. I mean the blood going her hair. So like this part where like he's laying out like this and like his intestines are out and stuff like that. That's either makeup or CGI. That's probably CGI right here because you can see how his like shirt is kind of open. So that's probably CGI. And then they just bought some like blood and then created some like they literally have a whole makeup department for this to make stuff look like look real and look like somebody's dead. Um, yeah, that's why I love watching behind the scenes because you get to see how it actually was made.
Yeah, I like watching like you smart. Just the green screen.
Yeah, and see how it comes out.
I'm like the low, like an hour, like 30 minutes, 20 minutes, and I'll probably see them throughout. But I be liking it because they be, because I be thinking a lot of stuff happen. Like I ain't hear no the Rock had
Thunder. Yeah, yeah.
He did like
Nah. That's what I'm saying. Everybody think he like he's still a good actor, but like he not like y'all think, like, cause he don't do his own stunts. He has somebody else. Now I would respect him more as an actor if he did his own stunts because it's like you really are that guy. Tom Cruise, Jackie Chan, Jason Statham, uh, Keanu Reeves, like those people actually do that. And so I look at them a little bit differently. And The Rock is the highest paid actor in the world. Yeah, and so it's crazy because he don't do all that stuff. Yeah, and so it's crazy because he's like he plays the same roles to me. I feel like he does. He just plays that like swole dude who saves the day with the white shirt on and the cargo pants. Rampage, the Tooth Fairy, but that was crazy. And then he played in like I don't know if you remember like the movie The Game Plan. He was like a football player. It was like a Disney. It was a Disney movie, but he was a football player and he Jumanji. Yeah, but that's still the same role as like that's yeah. And he's in Fast and Furious, series. So we was just talking about that last. I don't stop because it's money. Right now, they on 11 right now. Fast and Furious 11, and I think they should stop. But right, and and plus though they add different actors, right? New every time, but it's what's gonna kind of happen though. It's like right, it's still like you can still watch that movie without watching the other ones, and they make so much money from it. Like they spend, let's say, 100 million, and they get like 600 million, so they get 500 million back. But that's what I'm saying. So, but each time, man, we just talked about not in the class last Monday, but last Tuesday. You weren't here, but we talked about how serious is. Why do movie studios keep letting these movies go on to like 8, 9, 10, 11? I mean, because they make money. They like one because I think it's Paramount, no Universal Studios. They own the Fast and Furious franchise. Universal Studios. Not all of them. Some are Paramount, some are Sony, some are Walt Disney. So right, and those are production companies. That's how movies get their money. That's who the movies get who funds them. Like that's the people who pay. So for example, this is how it goes. I'm a producer and I got an idea for a movie, right? And I said, okay, I want to make a Fast and Furious movie. And so I said, okay, I need money for that. Like we talked about before, producers have money, but they can't pay everything. They're not multi own stuff. They make more money. But typically how it goes, they have to get money from a production studio. So like Disney Pictures, Walt Disney, Sony Pictures. So no, not necessarily. They usually get a bigger cut because they giving you the money. So you should have been on last. So basically, let's just take a look at this real quick. Have you seen Avatar, the Blue People? So look, this is the highest grossing movies of all time, meaning the movies that made the most money out of any movie, right? So Avatar, the first one that came out in 2009, they made almost $3 billion. So they made, this is how much this is worldwide gross. This is how much the movie made. This is not 2 million, this is 2 billion. So another one, Avengers Endgame, right? That makes sense. That's 2 billion because it was a Marvel movie, had all the actors. It was the end of a sequel. It was an Avengers, action. That was the last Avengers. So everybody went to see it 2, 3, 4, 5 times. Yeah, but I remember I went to see this like 3 times, not on my own choice, but I saw it the first time just because I went to see it. The second time my friend went to see it. Third time my family, like it's free now because this came out like 2018. But you got to look at why this movie got so much money. It's the second highest grossing movie of all time. So this is the second most movie any movie ever made that made the most money. It's number 2. And you got to think about why it did. Well, they had a great cast. They had the Chris Evans, Robert Downey Jr., Tom Holland. They had a crazy cast. It was a Marvel movie. It was an action movie. Action is the highest grossing genre out of all movies.
This not even probably do it. This not do it like when you know when it's updated.
This list is updated because this literally is updated. Like Avengers is still number 2. Like there's no movie out that has made more money than the Avengers except Avatar. And,
but they only made probably like what 2 million more than them because it's like
yeah, 2 million more. Right.
So that's probably like them selling like $10 movie tickets or something.
Well, you got to also think about inflation, how much tickets were back when this movie came out versus when that one. So Avengers Endgame came out in 2019. Avatar came out in 2009. So that's a 10-year difference. So tickets could have went up like $4 or something. You feel me? Like the tickets that were $5 in the past is like $10 now or something. It's crazy.
That's what I think we talking about.
Okay. They had to make more. But my other thing I wanted to get at was that now, if we look at, okay, so this got $2.7 billion, right? So and this is Marvel, which is also Disney, they own Marvel. So Disney said, okay, this movie made $2.7 billion, right? So that was a good investment for them because this is how much they spent on the movie. So they spent let's just say they spent 400 million. This is so if you see budget, that means how much they spent. Box office, how much they made. So Marvel basically spent 400 million to make this movie. That means paying all the actors, paying the team, and those people are good. Don Cheadle, they contracts is probably not more than that. Robert Downey Jr., who plays Iron Man, his contract, I think he made like 40 million or something. Yes. And that's crazy, ain't it? 40 million? And
like the movies that they do all day, that's still like an hour or 2.
Well, they film it over a year, but they gotta condense it. That's when the video editor, director, and them come in. They gotta take a year worth of footage and put it in 2 hours. You know how hard that is?
Saying like that's over. So they record.
They record because they gotta and pick the best one, but they also pick what the director wants, like what fits the vision of what. Yeah, they said the director and video editor work together. The video editor can't just edit. The director got the video. Got to make sure that the director got to make sure the video editor is say what he is going on. What he said. Sometimes the producer is there too because they want to know. Okay, is this how? Is this going to get us some money back? But the part I wanted to mention was that let's say now let's go back to Fast and Furious, right? So we look at the first Fast and Furious. This is how much they made and how much they spent. So they spent $38 million to make the first Fast and Furious movie. So when you make a movie, you don't really know how much money it's gonna make. You know what I mean? Like if you make a movie and you put it out there, you take a risk. You gotta think about it. You also gotta take it, but it's also a risk because there's some movies that you put a lot of like Suicide Squad. They had a bunch of like actors in it, Margot Robbie, Will Smith, Suicide Squad with Harley Quinn. And Will Smith, they made money, but let's see. No, so they actually it's funny, they lost money. So look, this movie, they spent 185 million and they got 169 million. So they lost like 16 million. No, I'm saying that's a lot for a production company. So with that being said, do you think that the production company is going to have them make another one? No, because they lost. Exactly. They lost money. Why would I give you more money and you didn't make more? You actually lost it. That was one thing if you make.
Gave you the money to make it. They still got to get their.
They still got to get their cut.
And you just got to take the short
Well, you got to also look at how, like, how you split it. Like, it's just a lot of like more like politics and more like money. It's like more complicated than that.
You just keep the rest.
Yes, but most movies though, like the production company doesn't know how much it's gonna make. Like they just know, okay, we're gonna put a part 2 out. The first one made 500. I'm just saying, I don't know how much the first one made, but let's say they said the first one made 300 million more than what we spent. Great, that's awesome. We all get a cut. We made a profit. So that's like, let's make a part 2, get more money. But the part 2, you could think it make a lot, but it could flop like this one did. So then they say, dang, we actually lost money. So what they can say is, like, I don't really know too much of the politics of how the money is distributed, but since they got so much money from the first one, they could also have that as a piggyback. Like, we made so much more, we lost 15, but we got more for the first one. So I don't know what that works, but what I will tell you is that they're not going to make another one because.
Like they make they take the audience and the clothes and make a lot of money that they so they can even pay the people they gave them money.
So you saying, have they ever not made enough money to pay back the people that gave them the money? Yeah, that's called a box office flop. That's this whole movie section. They call them flops when they lose money. So when that happens, I mean, the production company still has billions of dollars. So whether if they lose this money, they still like have like other things in place to get money. Like they could have royalties. So if they play this on Netflix or HBO, they get a cut each time it's played, right? So the production company could get a cut from that. But this is strictly from how much they made at the theater. They're not taking into account all the streaming stuff because every movie gonna get streamed eventually. So that still evens out, But that's the movie theater money. That's the box office. But that's how they get a lot of their money anyway. Like the streaming, so that's just a portion. That's not. So that's what I'm saying. A lot of people don't watch movies at the theaters compared to how they used to before COVID. But once it was better. But now COVID, only time people go to the movies now if it's like a Marvel movie or a good movie that you want to see in theaters. But the typical movie, you pay wait for it to come out on Netflix.
Like now, movies coming out on regular TV. All they got to do is pay for regular TV.
Exactly. So, and that's why a lot of people are actually upset about that because streaming services are getting a lot of power now. They're starting to dictate their own prices. That's why Netflix price going up. At first, it used to be like $4.99, $6.99, house or something like that. Things say that all of them going up because they know people not going to go to the movies and pay $12 for a ticket, but they'll stay at home and pay for the streaming service for $12 a month, right? So and get all these movies, right? But they don't own those movies. Well, they have deals. So if it's like a really popular like Avengers Endgame, that's a Marvel movie. So that's probably gonna go on Disney Plus. But they used to have, I think they do have some Marvel. Yeah, they have some on Netflix. They have deals. Yeah, so they have deals. They say like, we put this, we get a portion, you get a portion of the thing. So like it benefits both parties. Like it depends though. Like it depends on like if it's an old movie or a new. Because say if it's like a movie that came out in the 70s, how is it gonna make? But if it has royalties, that means like and residual. That means basically like each time this movie is played, the director and actor still get money from it each time. So I don't know if you ever seen a Lion King, the animated series, like the movie that came out, the original Lion King cartoon.
Yeah, I watched that.
So a lot of voice actors, it was this one, I forgot his name, but he played the voice of Simba, or no, he played the voice of one of the other thing, like the other characters. And so he had a decision. They said, we'll give you 400,000 up front for this role, or we'll give you 100,000 up front, but you keep royalties and residuals. So he took that route. And so meaning now each time this movie is replayed, he get 50,000. Exactly. He make 5 million in a year, you know, depending on what it is. So he chose that's smart. Most people would take the money up front, 500,000. Yeah. So that's what happened. So and so that's what happened. So the show Friends, I don't know if you ever heard of that Friends. Yeah, and so each time it's played, those actors get money, so they don't have to work a day in their life anymore. They still no, they did. They still paid them millions when the show aired, but they also gave them. They still made money from when it's paid out. So that's why a lot of those actors and actresses, if they don't play in movies for like 10 years, that's still fine. They're still getting money from the old show that they played. So they still getting checks, and I think it's like it's negotiated in their contract. Maybe they get it after 10 years or 20 years. So they still getting money from that millions, bro. Each time it's played, they get $1 million. And all them different accounts, and that's for years. And then if they play in other movies, that's even more money. And if I would do that, yeah, because you get money from when it keeps going on. I wouldn't. Most people would take the million up front because that's money right here in front of your face. But that's why you got to have a good management team, and you have to have a good legal team with you so they can make these deals and negotiate for you. Because if you're a young actor in the industry, you may not know what to do, you know? So same like music artists, right? When they sign record label deals, some of them never have a lawyer or they just say, oh, $1 million, I'll sign it. Cool. Not a move, but I'm saying like rappers and stuff. They sign deals as, oh, shoot, they get scammed. So maybe they do get some money up front, but then they didn't read the fine print, meaning we get all your streaming money, we get all your, they're like, wait, what if that's my stuff? I made. He's like, you didn't look at the contract. That's it. But they like, because at the time, that's a lot of money if you was broke. You feel me? Like 100. Right. So that's to them, but they not looking at how much they could have done. So a lot of, they don't. That, contract. That's why Elaine, the class after this one, she talks about that stuff. That's why that's important. But a lot of people like to skip that stuff because they're like, it's boring. Exactly. But when you know this stuff, and you may not even need to, but if you have the money to pay a legal team, they can take care of it for you. An accountant, your own lawyer, yeah, they'll take care of it because you gonna get it. They gonna get it cut from it too. So they gonna look after your best interests, right? That's why you gotta really somebody who know what they doing. Absolutely, because they don't know about money like they do or the law. They don't want to know. They just want to act and get paid. You feel me? They don't want to have to learn. But I don't want to have to learn about that. I mean, I have to, but I don't want to. I'd rather pay somebody to take care of that for me and trust them. You feel me? So that's why like a lot of people who win the lottery and stuff, a lot of them just take the money and go. But the smart thing to do would be to hire an accountant, hire a lawyer, so they can see how much money is best to spread this out over the years. Do you have enough money to buy this house and buy this car? Because they need to know that how much money. Because a lot of people just splurge. Like exactly. Like account in terms of somebody who knows how to help you manage your money. That's what account.
That's how people go because they make TV shows off like this dude keep go to the house and tell them why they broke. How you look over that bank stuff, something else. It's like he accountant, but he go to like different cities.
Yeah. Yeah, but they had a documentary one time. They were documenting 5 people who won the lottery, like a little girl, an old man, a couple, and then like this man who's his twin brother. Like they interviewed 5 different random people, and they followed them throughout the years. Like one person made like 100 million off the lot, 100 person made 400 million. Another person won 1 billion. But then they get it pretty much on the spot. Yeah, but then taxes, they got to take out tax. So for example, if you win a lottery for like a bit, like to say 500 million, you probably only get like 250 million because taxes, they take a lot. I don't know how much percentage, but they take a good or more portion of it. The government or the city or the state they gotta take that money. It's just taxes. Like it's taxes. You got to have taxes on it. Of course not. Nothing's free. They gonna get something. Everybody gonna get something. So, but even still, that's a lot of money. Like if you won 400 million, but you get 200 million, that's still more than you need. You feel me? Like now, that's what I'm saying. So the documentary though, they followed these people, and you would think this person got 200 million. Ain't no way he gonna spend all that money. He gonna be rich for life. That's what most people think. But then they interviewed these people 5 years later. Most of them are broke and homeless again. Most of them are in jail. Some of them are like in debt and like owe the IRS and owe these mortgages. You know,
Like you gotta be smart. That's why I say they ask stuff like that at school, like what you would do. You wouldn't know what you would do.
you don't know. You don't until you get it. It's easy for you to say now. Why I'm gonna be smart about it. I'm gonna save it. I'm gonna put it for my kids. I'm gonna save. Like everybody says that. You can buy anything you want. Why would you wait? Especially if you're a young dude and you like 18, 19, and you win. They buying cars. She was like, yeah. But then they found another girl. She actually made more. She was smart. She invested in it because I think like her parents were running her money, and so they hired a lawyer, account. Yeah, so she ended up getting way more. Yeah, like that's a really important part. People don't. I think people know it's important, but they don't want to think about it and look into it because they think it's boring. But or just like managing your money and like because when you have 200 million, you probably thinking, okay, well if I spend a million, I still got 100. I still got 199 million left over. But it don't work like that. If you never have money, you gonna live that life. Most people, it's easy for them to say that they not. But once you get money for real, my thinking is that you have all the money you've ever wanted. And so but that's the thing. This version, and they just go broke later. A lot of NBA players, football players, my boxers like Mike Tyson. You know, he went broke for a long time. Terrell Owen, a lot of that happens a lot. A lot actors, people, they agents took their money. NWA, you know, like Easy E and his manager took a lot of their money. I forgot his name, but Zendaya, yeah. Oh, I didn't know that, um, but my point with that too is that like the thing about having that much money is that you have to like for example, let's say you won 50 million and you bought a house for like 5 million, right? So you have to and you bought a car, let's say you bought like 4 different cars with a note. And so you have to continuously make that money to keep it going because that's gonna run out eventually. Like you can't sustain yourself for that long with that money. You gotta have another stream of income to keep can't do you just work that's not gonna help because you only making 15 an hour or 20 an hour and you got a $200,000 car, 4 of them plus a house and kids and you trying to travel and buy jewelry and flex, you know, so like that's not gonna last more than like 5 years. So literally you have to like if I won the lottery like right now, like it's like no question about it. I think I would like hire as a lawyer and an accountant because like I'm gonna still get my money, but I want to make sure I get more in the end of it, and plus not be a dummy. Because I know, like, yeah, you know what I mean. Like, of course you're gonna want to treat yourself and travel and buy stuff, but it's just more about being smart and not letting it get to your head. But when you're young, it's just I'm guessing I understand it's tempting. It's tempting. Um, but I wanted to get back to like the Fast and Furious thing. So, like in a Fast and Furious movie, yeah, Universal. So for the Fast and Furious movies, though, like the first one, let's look at this real quick. So they spent 38 million on this movie. Well, well, because think about this: the bigger your movie gets, you're gonna want to spend to do more. You're gonna want more cars. You're gonna want more effects. You're gonna want better actors. So you got to spend more money to do that. Fast and Furious, and this is just the first one. So they don't know how it's gonna go. So it's smart to not invest a lot of money in it. You got to see. You remember you got to see how it is. And plus, a lot of these actors were starting out like Paul Walker, Vin Diesel. Like Vin Diesel's been in some movies. Yeah. I've never actually watched them.
You know what that is?
I saw like I saw like Fast 4 and 5, but I've never watched any of the other ones. No. Yeah, it's just I don't know why I don't want to watch. Oh, Tyrese.
Yeah, I like that one.
Yeah, and my thing with this is like I'm so far behind.
If you catch up,
I just don't feel like catching up.
it ain't that amusing to catch up, like to watch all of them. It don't be that amusing.
That's what I'm saying. Like it don't really pique my interest that much. But I know what you're saying. The first 3, that's what people said. Yeah. Yeah. But they're making more. But the thing is, they're making more money though. But the thing about it is, a lot of people say that. They say I don't like the new ones. I like, but they still making them, so they don't care what y'all, because y'all still going into the theaters to see it. So y'all must not hate it that much if y'all keep going to see it. That's what I'm saying. Exactly. You talking about the production company, like Universal Studios? Oh yeah, because they already said this is how much we getting, right? We getting this percent. So yeah, they get a percent too. It's all contract based and like it's all negotiable. Now I don't know, obviously don't know the details, but everybody has a contract to say how much percent they get from this movie. So actors, like I said before, those are usually actors and producers are usually mainly actors. Like actors and producers are usually the highest paid people from the movie set because actors, they got contracts. Like, if you want Will Smith in your movie, right? You got to pay him a lot because everybody gonna come to the movie just to see it for him. You feel me? It's Will Smith. So same with those. It depends. It depends. It depends. Like like the movie, not Gemini Man. It was that other one where he was in with that alien. Not that. What was it called? Not iRobot. It was the hold on. It was the one that was on Netflix. It was called. Fuck. What was it called? It was called. Bright. It was called Bright. So the movie Bright. Did you ever see this or hear about that? So this is a movie that came out in 2017, and this, huh? Yeah. Yeah, I never saw this movie, but what I was about to say though is that I remember people hating this movie. They were like, "This movie sucks. Why did Will Smith even playing?" But he got paid. But they thought that. But the director thought he was in it. It was gonna get buzz, but that wasn't the case. I think this movie flopped, if I'm not mistaken. Like that wasn't interesting. That looked weird. Like who wants to see Will Smith hitting a ferry? Yeah, it just didn't look cool. Like the aliens like riding a police car. Like, what is this? So, and Will Smith was probably even reading the script like, what is this? But if they said I give you 50 million to do it, shoot, he might, he probably did it. But he may have also liked the script. I don't know. But I'm saying for the right price, you might just do it, even if you don't agree with it. So let me see how much money that movie made. So this movie, so this was a Netflix release. So it didn't come out in theaters. So, wait, so let me see. So they gave this film an F. They gave it a 1.5 out of 4 stars. Lazy. So all the critics hated this. They gave it an F, 1 star, said it was lazy, said this is Will Smith's worst movie ever. They hated it. That's what. So they. Right. Right. And a lot of that too could be the writers. Like they wrote a bad character for him. Like, cause like he's a good actor. We all know that. Right. And that's also too why the director and the writer matters for the actor, because the actor just acts based off what the writing is. So the actor can, like, I've seen movies where the actors, we know he's a good actor, but the role was just not for him. Like they didn't write it right. Probably. Like if it's a small film and they don't know what they're doing, an actor can say, you know what, nah, that ain't, let me do this. I promise, like I know what I'm talking about. And they may say, you right, go ahead. But if it's like a director and actor who had a good relationship and they both good, they may just trust each other, it just may just go. But like that's why I think it's just, you don't know. It's a gamble. You putting it out there to the world. Like he probably wanted to play a role that he never played before. And so he probably was like, this is different. I'll play it, but you don't know how people are going to react to it. And so that's the risk you got to take too, just as being an artist. Like you just got to, go with it, and whatever happens, happens. But the thing about that, it affects your career. So like if you end up constantly in bad movies, people gonna say, well, he lost his touch. He's not the same anymore. And that's also too why controversy matters. Because you remember when Will Smith, he smacked Chris Rock at the award show, and a lot of people didn't like Will Smith after that. Like they were like, why would he do that? I'm not a fan anymore. And so a lot of people were protesting his movies, saying I won't watch his movies anymore. And that affected his career a little bit. That changes people's perception of him as a professional. And a lot of people aren't Will Smith fans anymore because of that. So that also has an impact when like controversy, like when Will Smith smacked Chris Rock at the Academy Award, a lot of people was like, I'm not a Will Smith fan anymore. We protested his movies. And so a lot of people start liking him. And that's the thing too about the news. It fluctuates. Like people like you today and tomorrow they forget about it. And attention. But a lot of the studios, though, they didn't pick him up after that. They were like, nah, it's bad controversy. Because they're like, you picked up this guy, even though he's famous, you still picked him up, even though he did this thing that was super unprofessional.
They gotta, I say, people gotta look at stuff, people perspective sometimes. Well, I remember when they were doing that though, when they was all for reposting the he's not gonna Chris Rock.
Right. And like, that's just a bad look.
If you think about what he did, though, that's why I say they gotta think about why he did it. I don't think they think about that, though. That's why they probably trying to cancel.
Well, some people, like some directors didn't care. Like right after that movie, he played in, he still was like, they don't, he's like, people gonna forget about that. They're not gonna hold that against him. But some directors probably said, nah. So, exactly. So it depends who you work with, so it's not always, but that's the gamble though. Like when you put a movie out here like Bright, where it got horrible reviews, Will Smith was probably like, this is a different movie. I never played a role like this before. Let me just try it out. But Bad Boys?
Yeah, Bad Boy.
Right, but he probably wanted to do something different, well, like an alien partner. But that's the risk you got to take as an artist. You don't know how people are going to respond to it, so you just gotta do what you do best and hope people. They spent 100 million, but this was filmed on. This was produced by Netflix, so it was a Netflix production. So they didn't play it in theaters. So I don't know. So they didn't make money from like the box office, but they did make money from the.
But you don't think they probably made
No.
possibly.
But that's the other thing with streaming services. It's a little bit different how they get money.
But what like post that movie on YouTube, like go watch and post it on YouTube. Like they don't get money for that. Like that's why they ban them people.
You talking about? Oh, yeah. Well, that's just illegal because that's copyright. Like you. But yes, and like generally, like the reason why is because you're not making money from you doing that. You just taking money. You taking somebody's video and posting it. So now I don't got to go to the movies to see. I can see it right here.
If you edited a little bit and probably just throw a spice on it, you can make it your own video.
You could, but yeah, but still, like you can't record somebody else's movie and put it on for free. Like you just can't do that. Same with music. Like you can't. That's why they used to take people on YouTube. They real strict about that. Like if you play somebody else's song, they'll mute it. And they'll take it off. Say this is violates our copyright rules. That's yeah. If you post like a song, but now I bet you like this could either went two ways. How Will Smith handled this. They probably either said one, Will Smith probably like, cool, this story looks interesting. It's different than when I usually play. I'm gonna do it for the art of it. This seems cool. I'm gonna do it. I don't care how it's gonna be received. I'm gonna do it. Hopefully it's good, obviously, but if it's bad, that's what it. So that's one route that could have happened. The second route was like Will Smith could have looked at the script and said, "This shit is ass." And then they was like, "Well, this is how much we'll pay you." He's like, "Well, if you paying me 50 million, I don't really care. It's still, yeah, for sure. Yeah, it's not that much, but that's what I'm saying. So it could have either went the money was good or he genuinely wanted to do something or both. Like I don't know, or maybe he wanted to, whatever. But he need maybe he was for maybe he just really needed something. You don't know for real. But that's what my guess is. I don't know. Because I know it's actually some actors who come out for a movie. They say I know this is the worst movie I've ever done. But I don't know if Will Smith said anything about it. I think maybe we can just search how did Will Smith feel about, right? And honestly, they probably got a lot of money because Will Smith was in it. Will Smith enjoyed the creative process of filming Bright, even though the movie received mostly negative reviews. See, so he actually liked it. That's what I'm saying. So he wanted to do it. So maybe he saw it and was like, "This is different, weird, different. I want to try it out." And he did it, and he took the risk for it. He'd be shamed on getting negative reviews, but in his case, he's probably like, I'm still Will Smith. You feel me? I still got to. I think so. Okay, yeah. If you watch Bill Lemon thoughts on a racist perspective of right, yeah, something along those lines. But I still got it. I've never seen it, so I can't say if it was. Oh, right here. Oh, Will Smith plays a racist cop. Okay, yeah. So that was probably also weird, like having Will Smith play a black cop. That's right. And plus all this stuff with police brutality. Nobody really want to hear about that right now. Well, this came out 2017, so this was before the George Floyd. But it was still police. People still didn't like the police. Like black people still didn't like the police. Oh yeah. We would have said, why would you put out something like this in this climate, right? And you got to think about that too. The time you put the movie out, like, yeah, because think about it. If they would have put the movie like this after George Floyd, they would have destroyed them. They would have said this is a disgrace to the culture. They would have canceled Will Smith. They would have canceled everybody because they were like, why would you put something out knowing this stuff just happened? We need to post something more positive, something more positive about black people. Because now we looked at this like it's just too much. controversy. You know what I mean? So you got to think about it. But sometimes controversy could be good. You feel me? Or good or bad. Yeah, it depends how you do it. That's why you have to have a good PR, public relations in it.
But sometimes that helps, sometimes you don't like a good movie like a police movie dropped after George Floyd died, and that movie blow up because they probably got a cop on something good.
Exactly. It just depends. You feel me?
And people I feel like people do really do that though. Shoot a movie and try to act like that happened in a real life.
Yeah, like COVID stuff. I see movies about COVID. Yeah. I'm like, it's too soon, bro. It's too soon, bro. You gotta wait about a couple 10 years because we still dealing with that. Like, we don't need a movie. This is real life. Like, we went through this shit. We don't need to see a movie about it and act it out and add music and stuff. This is reality. So certain things you gotta just read the room a little bit. Yeah, because I didn't see it. There's been a bunch of movies about COVID, and I'm like, why would y'all make a movie? And I get why they made it, but it's not, in my opinion, not that smart. Exactly, but still, nobody want to hear that. People trying to get away from that. They trying to escape that. They trying to hear about something now. You trying to bring it back and have us sit down and watch it for 2 hours, and I live this stuff every day. Like, nah, bro, I'm cool. And spend $12. It just depends how you do it. It all depends how you do it. And that's why you got to have a good team. You got to have people to tell you, and you got to have people on your team of diversity because, like,
You have somebody on your team that sit on social media.
That's exactly. Yep. And then I'll have a person who understands Black culture. I have a person who understands white culture. So when I put something out, I know that's not offensive. I know that's not, like, because a lot of movies, they have all white and then they stand stuff about Black people. They're like, that's not something Black people will want to hear. But if you had a Black person tell y'all that, y'all wouldn't have had this problem. They switch it up like, y'all, that's not right now. It's too much going on with this. That's not. Yeah, but getting people to talk about it and then getting people to see it are two different things. Because, like, for example, like, if somebody put a movie about COVID out, people will probably talk about it and say, like, y'all heard about that movie, but that don't necessarily mean they gonna see it. I mean, it might translate to that. It could, but it also could be bad. Like, it just really depends. And just, and yeah, and it's just crazy because it's more than just making a movie. It's a lot of marketing and creative thinking that has to go into it than just making a movie. Like, how is it? And also, too, you got to also think about the actor's life and reputation. How we talked about, like, Will Smith smacking Chris Rock, and
they put that in the movie, like, I had him walking up smacking somebody. They gonna know that they going off. Feel like Chris Rock stuff.
Right.
Are they gonna make money off that?
Well, they might get even sued though, because they may say, "Well, you shouldn't have recaptured that. That was like they could find a way to bring a lawsuit." So that's probably not even smart to do that. But you also got to think about the actor's reputation at that time, because this could be actors who got sexual assault allegations. You feel me? And then that messed a lot of movies too, like James Franco. You know who he is? I'm gonna show you. Gonna say, "Oh, him." This dude. No, he's not Iron Man. He played Harry Osborn in Spider. Harry Osborn in Spider-Man. He played and see.
I know that.
Yeah. So he's a good actor, right? But he has a lot of sexual assault allegations. And when they made this one movie, I think it was The Disaster Artist at the time or something, and he was doing some stuff, so they actually cut the movie. The production company told them to cut the movie because that's bad. That's bad controversy. People don't want to know that we made this movie with a rapist.
But like said, he always. So what happened to like people that work? They still got to pay them for all the time they did, but they lost money.
They lost a bunch of money. That's why so they probably said, be like, yeah, they still have to pay everybody, but the production company lost a bunch of money. But and James Franco's case, the victims sued him for money because for like crazy stuff. You feel me? And he paid it up because he didn't want the information out, so he probably did like a non-disclosed agreement, like I'll pay you if you don't go to take this to trial, and I won't, so I don't get arrested, and lose my credibility, whatever. But so yeah, so when that happens, and an actor goes through something like or Jonathan Majors, you remember Jonathan Majors? He played in this guy.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, he played in some Marvel show. I forgot.
He was in Creed.
Creed. He was in Creed, but he was also in a Marvel show though.
I remember he was the dude that fought on Creed.
Yeah, but he had a movie coming out. He was on top of the world for a minute, but then he beat his wife. And she was a white lady. He beat her. Like I don't know if what happened, but I don't know if he got like jail time or how that worked. But she had scars and stuff, so it seemed like evidence looked like he did, and so they dropped him from some stuff, and they just scratched his movies out because this was right after I think Creed came out, and so a lot of people was getting buzzed. He was like, "Oh, Jonathan Majors, fit dude, black person, getting these roles with Michael B. Jordan." He was about to be the next. Exactly. So, but then he did that thing, and now all was, oh man, now can't put him in our movies. Got to drop him from this. Got to scratch our movie because if you do that, that looks bad. It looks like you're supporting.
That's how people gotta look at. Like I don't know how to see. You supposed to read those comments and stuff, read them comments, but you if you think he's gonna help you make money, don't worry about what nobody else say. But again, that they gonna make your money. You gonna get your money.
Right.
You gotta think about what they say.
Yeah, but also too, it's gonna look bad on the production company. Like your reputation is more important than the money because the reputation is the thing that's gonna let people keep coming to see it. Like if they see that you supporting a rapist, they're not gonna want to support you, right? If they know you giving this dude a platform, he wasn't a rapist, but he was like domestic abuse. Like if they know that I'm giving you a platform, oh, he supports people who beat women. I'm not supporting this company. They doing all this stuff, so it looks bad on them. So they're not gonna do that. Like that makes sense to me. Like why they would take, you know what I mean? But I know what you're saying. You're saying they paid all this money, they did all this stuff. But honestly, most people probably wouldn't want to even see it because if they know that he's in it. Now, if you filmed it already and it's done, then yeah, they'll put it out. But I'm saying if they're in the process of making a movie, they could just shut it down or get a new actor. But if they've already made the movie and it's about to be released, yeah. Well, I don't know. On the contract, it could say if you violate the image of our company, you don't get your money. It depends on the contract. I don't know what that said. It may say something in the lines that's read your stuff. Now he might have gotten money. He may not have. I don't know. But in terms of the production company, I tell you what, they'll won't put him in a movie again or none. And that's how you get blackballed in Hollywood. Nobody wants to work with you. Now you don't get in any movies because they say, oh, that dude, he's a physical, he's hard to work with. He don't listen. And work theater or dude, that's how like blackballing. That happens a lot with producers and yeah, and like if you blackball in Hollywood, that it's over because now everybody knows who you really are, and no one wants because people talk. They always say like Hollywood people talk, in New York people talk, so they're not gonna want to work with you if they know you hard to work with, if they know you're a rapist, if you know you weird and trying to hit on everybody on set, or you just don't listen to the rules and want to take over the show. Directors hard to work with you. Directors gonna hear that and say, I don't want to work with him. He got into an argument and tried to fight the other director. Why would I want to put him on my show or my movie? You know what I mean? Like we don't want to work with somebody who's
not give a person a second chance,
but I mean, I'm just saying, like, if you have a record of that, like if you got a right now, if you made a mistake, now some people just make mistakes, and that's up to the company's real. But I'm saying if you about to drop a movie, if you filming a movie with an actor and you're not finished with it yet, and then your allegations come out, that's just smart to take a pause on the production. Let's wait and see how this pans out. You don't got to stop it completely. Just wait. Now, if he got not guilty, okay, well, he's clear, so we good. But if it's still stuff going on, yeah, that makes sense. Like even though these actors make millions of dollars, They still be and they still but they also still at the discretion of the production company. They gotta remember they can just kick you off at will. Like you just another actor. You just another job. Like you just get I just pay you. You feel me? Like you still a human that's replaceable. Even though you an actor, I could get somebody. I can get Michael B. Jordan. I could get anybody. Like you ain't that raw. You ain't that special. You feel me? So yeah, he's not in much anymore. I think now he's what is he doing? Let me see. Actually, you could look and see. Uh, Creed 3 was his last movie. He was in Yeah, he was in Loki. Wait, no, he was in something else. Okay, well, I swear he was in something else. Golly, but yeah, so he's pretty much. Yeah. Yeah, and that's you got to look out for that too because once one thing comes out, all these other people gonna want to say something and say he heard me and all the people saying but you don't know who's telling the truth, who's not. You know what I mean? Or who doing it for the money, or who's actually serious.
They gotta go through real stuff like when a woman feel like say you beat somebody else, how they know she ain't beat herself up?
That's just the law at that point. They gotta do that in law. That's what I'm saying. They pick a pause on it because to see what happened next. Because if he's guilty, then you just gonna scrap it. But if he's not guilty, you might keep going, or you may still drop it and say, "Let's just give it a time for this stuff to die down, then we'll come back." And then some movie productions don't even care. Like, and they like some people like you hear about sexual stuff, they keep that person in the movie. It's like, dude, he just got guilty for somebody rape somebody. You want to keep yeah, that
I like movies still like go up if it's good.
yeah. Yeah, but it's just about how much you care and what they did and how much evidence. It's so much to think about. But yeah, Jonathan Majors. Yeah, he's gonna be the next. He's gonna be next up, man. Jonathan Majors. Yeah, but for the Fast and Furious thing, that's the point. I keep skipping this part, but um, we see like if you let me ask you something. If you make a movie and just like your first movie, right? And you don't know how it's gonna go, are you gonna put a lot of money into it or probably not that much? Like 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 it's no right or wrong answer. I'm just curious. Like what would you do if you have a movie and you got a pretty decent cast, not a great cast, but like some up and coming. Right. Would you invest it to make it a hit and like say, no, we're gonna put everything into it and then make it good and blow it up or you gonna let's start small and then if it's good, we'll make another one and blow that up. Like what would you do?
I do if it's good, then make a part two because people always watching decent good movies. Be like, I was gonna be a part two to this, and they'll be waiting on a part two. So I do the first.
So you'll not spend that much.
Yeah, not spend that much. See how they do it. Then do it. Like do it like go big on the second.
Okay. So that's what most like a lot not I wouldn't say a lot but a good amount of movies do that. So like this Fast and Furious movie we were just talking about, they spent 38 million. That's actually not that much money, like, but they say much more. So then they was probably thinking, okay, this first one was great, we made money and then some, let's make a part two, see how much that. So let's see how much number two. Okay, let's see. So they made 76, and they spent 76 and made 236 million. So that's still pretty good. That's real good. Okay, cool. Exactly. So okay, cool. Let's see. Let's make a third one. See how much that makes, right? Was it the Fast and the Furious Tokyo Drift? Okay, they spent 85 million and they got 159 million back. Still good. Okay. Well, they loving it. We got a good cast. Let's keep it going. Why not, right? So then they come out with number 4. Okay. Let's see how much they spent. 85 million, going up each year. I mean, each movie, and then they make even more each movie. And they made that's really good. So they said, "Oh shoot, we spent 85 million on this movie, and we got 300, almost 400 million back. Shoot, everybody get money, money for everybody, and let's go out to eat too. Shoot, let's do more, right? And so let's make another one for the heck of it, right? It's getting more and more every year. So then we got Fast 5. Now this is the one I saw, Fast 5. This was pretty good actually. Like I guess I haven't seen the other ones, so I don't know what to compare it to. But in terms of just like the movie itself, it was pretty good. But now you got a bigger cast. I think this is the one where they introduced The Rock. So this is Fast 5. Oh yeah. So they got a bigger cast now. This is where they introduced The Rock, right? This is where they introduced is this the one they introduced Tyrese, or was he in this one? Yeah, Tyrese comes into this one. And so they spent 125 million on Fast 5. And they made 600 million back. So that's awesome. Right? And then let's see 6. Dang. They spent, let's say 260 million. They got set.
Like 300.
Right, but look how much they got back. Almost 800 million. So that's still good, bro. No, this is 6. Now 7, I know they made a crazy amount. They made like $1 billion.
Which one was it when that dude died?
That was 7.
That was 7.
So look how much they made. They spent 250 million and got 1.5 billion. The Paul Walker, he died, and so that made money. Everybody wants to, and everybody thought this would be the last one because the main character died. So they was like, this got to be the last one, right? They made $1 billion. The main dude passed away. It was like, let's just stop here. That's what everybody thought. Like that would be a good ending point. But nope, next year, Fast and Furious 8, or the Fate and the Furious. Now this the one they got Jason Statham going and The Rock as a main cast. Same thing. They spent 270 million. They made 1.2 billion dollars. That's insane. That's insane. Okay. So they made 1.2 billion dollars from Fast and Furious 8. So how much did they make from 7? So 7, they made 1.5. So you can see how it makes sense for them to keep making these movies. So to us, it's like they still making them. Well, y'all still going to see them, so they gonna keep making them.
That's why I said like this, like okay, this not something like okay, now you see it now and go rewatch it all the way from 1 all the way to 11. But like now, like a new one dropping, no, Fast Furious got a new one. I'm gonna go watch it. That sound like Fast Furious, the movie. Like, I want to watch it, but not like starting from the beginning, like what you were just saying, like rewatching them. But somebody like Fast Furious is a good movie. That's why people feel like people go see it all the time.
Yeah, but a lot of people say it's too many. Some people say they need to stop.
But it's how they switch it up though.
Okay.
It's a lot of movies that's like the same scene, the same stuff.
But they change it up, you saying?
Yeah, that's why I said they being different.
Yeah.
They being different.
Yeah. Different cars. Yeah, and I get that. Yeah, that's what they gotta do. If they got 11 movies, they gotta switch it up. They can't have the same stuff. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, it seemed like it's a different one. Yeah,
that's all different.
all different one.
So, okay, so that means that the producer just probably pays different directors to make the movie.
Well, the producer, like I don't know, I don't know if these movies all have the same producer or not. They may have different. It seems like they all have the same. Yeah, so it seems like this dude, Neil, he seemed like he's the producer for all of these, so far. So yeah, so he probably approached the production company Universal and said, we want to make another one. This is how much we need. Let's make it. And they say, cool, you made $1 billion for the last one. I would love to give you more. If you're gonna make another $1 billion, sure. You could have.
They go look at your stats.
Yeah, of course. But if they see that the movie tanked, they gonna say, well, why would we give you more money? You just failed. You just failed.
If you tell them you got another idea, you think they'll go for that, or
It depends. It depends. That's what I'm saying. It depends on your track. Now, some directors, every movie's not gonna be well, no, every movie's not gonna be amazing, right? But you should not be flopping.
Yeah, flopping.
Like flopping, you should not. That's very
you
that's not good. Like it's some movies that make maybe $1 million more. That's still better than flopping. Like just don't flop. That's the one thing. Just don't flop. Like if you flop, you probably won't be trusted again because for a major project. Now they may give you, of course, something that they might, depending on who you are and how well you work, they might. But if you flop, that's pretty big deal. Like it's like, okay, you lost the company money. So now we got to get money out of our stuff and pay these people because you didn't make it back and we trusted you.
Okay, and that's why I'm saying so people like people that give you one like I just asked that like say you make another movie, you make a lot of money off them. Like do you supposed to get them the money that you didn't already get them, or like you not suing them if you don't?
You saying if I made another movie and I said it's gonna make money and it doesn't?
No, I'm saying like say you just make like okay, you made a movie with this company first and it was a flop. You didn't make all the money you're supposed to get them back.
Right.
Then you make a whole other movie and you made a lot of money. So that money you make nothing. Like you can kind of get a percentage that you owe them back.
Well,
make another movie.
If it's the same production company, I mean, maybe not necessarily. Well, if it's the same, it's all going to them anyway. So that's what I'm saying. Like if a movie in a theater drop and let's say they drop Hercules and Robin Hood in the same time for the same, and they still buy Universal, they don't care which one wins or gets flopped because the production they still make, but that affects the director because they may say, well, even though they were directed by two different directors, they say, well, we don't trust this director because he flopped, but we trust him, but we still get the money. So we're going to give him more for his next one and not give him nothing for it. But at the end of the day, it still goes to the same company. So they don't care who makes the money as long as you make money. But for the director, it matters if the money matters because it's your creative decisions. Yeah, they really only like you if you make money. Like they're not gonna like you if you flop. That means like James Cameron, right? The person who did Avatar. James Cameron. He made the first Avatar. He made he's still alive. He made almost $3 billion for the first one. So the company said, okay. He said, okay, I want to make a number 2. And guess what they said? Absolutely. You made the highest gross movie of all the time. Of course I'm gonna let you make another one. And guess what he said he would do? He said, I'm gonna make another one and get $2 billion again. Guess what he did? He did it. And so now he said he has a contract with them now. He said, I want to make 5 of those boys.
He did.
He's making them. He's in the third one right now. He's filming the third and fourth. The third one I think is like basically done. But they filmed the fourth and the fifth one, so it's going to be back to back to back to back. So for some, like Christopher Nolan, like he made Inception, The Dark Knight, Tenet, well, Interstellar. He don't do superhero movies all the time, but he makes a lot of like action, sci-fi movies, suspenseful dramas and stuff. And he pretty much gets the money back from the movies he makes. Like he spends a lot. He spends like $200 million for each movie he makes to make most of his movies. He spends like 200, 300 million, but he makes like 700 million back or like 600 million back. So the company likes you. You made money. You made hundreds of millions. So I like you. You made money. And that's what it's all about at the end of the day is money. Like it's a bunch of directors that actors don't like Tom Cruise. A lot of directors don't like Tom Cruise. because he's hard to work with. Because he dictates a lot of the rule. Because he's a, you know, he thinks he's this guy. Because you know him, he made the Mission Impossible, but he don't listen because he makes his own. Because he does his own stunts. He makes, so he's like, I'm the king. You need me more than I need you. So he's like, I'm the show around here. I'm the director around here. But directors don't like that because even though you still do, I'm still in control of this movie. Like it flops on me if it fails, not you. Probably not because he's Tom Cruise. Nobody can do what he can do. So if you kick him off, who you gonna get to replace him? Who you gonna get to do your own stunts, fly off helicopters and jump off buildings and yeah, he's supposed to hit, but he's one of the highest paid actors for sure. But that's what I'm saying. He's irreplaceable. You can't find anybody like him, and he's still old as hell. What is he, like, almost 70? No, he's still doing it. They just came out. He making 2 more Mission Impossibles. He's 62 years old, jumping off buildings and skydiving. So now, how many people are you gonna find to do that? And his movies generate millions and billions. Oh, that made.
I know it's a lot. It's a lot. What's like 6?
Like, yeah, let me see. It's about to be, yeah. So 6 is about to be a 7th. No, it's 7 of them. It's gonna be 8. Yep, the 8 is coming out next year.
May 23rd. Yeah, May 23rd, 2025.
Yes, May 23rd, 2025. It's coming out. So, yep. So he's still doing all the stunts. And so you said how much did all the Mission Pop mission? $4 billion. It made $4 billion. And a lot of that was because of having Tom Cruise in their movie. Like, if you know he gonna be in it, he gonna do. Chris Tucker?
Yeah.
Nah, he wasn't in there. That's Jackie Chan. Yeah, he gets paid pretty good. He had like, nah, but they similar because they do both action movies. But Jackie Chan, he makes like a bunch of money. Um, yeah. So if you're in a movie series like Mission Impossible, Fast and Furious, Harry Potter, Lord of the Rings, Star Wars. But if you in a, I'm saying, like, if you in a movie series like 7, 8, 5, 6, 7 movies, you.
I'm saying about the books too. Like, say the movies that have books. That's why I'm extra money for them too. They make books too.
Yeah, the books get paid for that.
Yeah.
So like Twilight, Divergent, Maze Runner, how we were talking about, they get money from that because it's the adaptation off the book. There's their idea. It was written by them.
So the production don't get much off the books. The person that made the books.
Well, the production company gets paid too because they producing the movie. So let's say I wrote a book and somebody wants to make a movie about it. The first thing I'm gonna ask how much I'm gonna get from this because it's my idea. So they may say, okay, we'll give you half of, or 30% of what we make, and then some. Each time a stream will still give you money. It's like, okay, cool, that's all I want to know. But the production company who funds the movie actually pays the actors and the explosions and whatever. They still got to get paid too. So if you're doing something based off a book, not only does the movie have to be good so everybody can get money, but it has to also be similar but also different from the book, so the people who read the book want to see the movie, and the people who don't want to read the book still see the movie. Yeah, I mean, you can't do it exactly how, because the book is just so more detailed. So you only have a movie for like 2 hours, so you trying to fit 500, 400 pages in books here into a movie that's 2 hours is a lot of work, by still keeping it interesting and making sense. So it's a lot of work to do that. Yeah, it's a lot. Like that's not easy, but you get a shortcut because you didn't write the movie. You get a shortcut. You can just read the book and follow that. Like, of course you got to still, yeah, but of course you still got to add your own twist to it. But I'm saying compared to a movie that's originally written versus a movie that you got from a book, of course, you got to have that, of course. So yeah, yep. So like Marvel movies is a good investment because everybody's gonna see it. Superhero movies, everybody gonna see it. Star Wars movies, everybody gonna see it. Fast and Furious, most people are gonna see it. Yeah, they do. They do. They do. Because there's a huge community around it too. Like if you like, yeah, and it's a lot of people who have a strong fan base with it. Like grew up on it and they love it and want to follow it. It's like a universe, Yeah, they want to see. It's just they love the universe so much. Like they want to see it, keep it going. So I feel like Star Wars will always be around. Same with like Marvel and superheroes. Like that will always be around for the most part because it's just a community around it. People just love it so much. But yeah, so that's the thing. That's what I'm saying. At the end of the day, it's all about money. It literally is. From in terms of movies and that type of stuff, it's all about money. How much money can you get? If you get money, we'll give you more. It's that simple. So when you flop, a lot of directors step out from the game sometimes. They say, damn, my movie flopped. Maybe I lost my touch. But some say, well, I flopped. Let me try again. See if somebody else, let me try something. I flopped this one, you can't win them all. Um, but yeah, so uh yeah. Um, what was I about to say? Um, Another thing I want to mention too is when you release uh, a movie, like what what day to release a movie? Because movies usually come out on Fridays and Saturdays because it's the weekend. You off work. Well, well, you probably won't get more money. It's $5, but the thing about that, so let me ask you, I don't know if you ever seen some movies they say released on Christmas or released on New Year. Do you think that's smart? Like to release a movie on the theater on Christmas Day. Do you think that's smart? Why? Because people,
celebrating the holiday. Like, okay, obviously, you said Christmas Day gift. Now, number two, like, okay, like, we did like a little 4th of July, something that's cool. But Christmas, everybody.
So that's not smart. Yeah. So why you think people do that?
People do it I don't know why people do it. If I think about somebody dropping a movie on there, they know who's not going to be in the theater, how do they know? No, I wouldn't say they know it's going to be a flop or just.
They just.
I don't know. Some people do go to the theater.
That's what I'm saying. So yeah. So I was gonna say, I think they take a risk. They take a risk, I personally think most people won't go, then will go, because like I mean, yes, it's an off day, but some people may say, "Hey, family, we are a family. Let's go to the movies. Let's celebrate after open up our presents. Let's go to the movie." Right. Right. And so it's risky with that. Now, President's Day, Veterans Day, that's the regular, like that actually might be a good day to release the movie because they off work. Most people off work on those days are national holidays, like President's Day, people off work. Like a movie in the theaters, probably not.
Not even a movie, just about a movie.
Yeah, oh yeah, some people probably have. Yeah, you can like that's what. Yes, yeah, but the problem with editing on your phone is that you have limited capabilities. It's not, yeah, it's a small screen, but the app you don't have compared to computer has more features than the phone. So, no, so you would want to do it on a computer if you can because it's bigger screen. It's more to, so it wouldn't be smart to do it on the phone, but you can if you wanted to. But so if you drop a movie on like President's Day in the middle of the week, that might be a good day actually to drop it because you know people gonna be off work. You know people not gonna have nothing to do. So why not go to the movies? Why not go see this action movie on this holiday, right? And another thing you also got to think about is what other movies are dropping at the same time, right? Now, if I got a movie and I know it's dropping the same day as an Avengers movie, is that smart?
I mean, would you want to put yourself up for competition? I think people, people feel like they try to put yourself in competition. They know they're gonna lose. Yeah, like you know you're gonna lose against the business, and you dropping something like bigger. You gotta look at the fan base. Right. It's not just adults watching. Event. You got kids, grown up, old people. Like your movie, probably like only adults like it. So it's, right. You gotta look at the stats and stuff. I personally, like, if I know it's a hot movie coming out, and I know my movie is just, I'm gonna be honest with myself and try to not compete with that movie because I know they're gonna make like if Avengers is a high, like you gotta be smart and like be aware. Like, no, my movie is not like the Avengers. They gotta. But you got to be realistic. Money, yeah. Like, so if I know the Avengers finna drop on Saturday, May 4th, I'm not gonna drop mine. I'm gonna probably drop mine next week or the week after or next month. Like, but not on the same day. You know, people gonna go see the Avengers over yours. Nobody's gonna see yours. Avengers gonna overshadow it. You got every actor in the Avengers. Like, how long is a movie supposed to be a movie theater? Like a month after it's released, then switch it out. I know it's a lot of 2 to 3 months. Oh, 2 to 3 months. Yeah. So yeah, 2 to 3 months. That's enough money, but it's like so many theaters. Right. Yeah. But yeah, so I mean, it's just you gotta think about like that type of stuff because you got to see what other movies are coming out the same day you dropping it. Because if you dropping animated movie and you know you compete against a Pixar movie, you might lose that box office battle. Like who's gonna get them? Because they look at the week box office weekend, see who made the most over the weekend. Like they look at that to see like what's just who made more over the weekend. That pretty much tells you how it's gonna go after that. Like from there, you can see who like what movie's gonna make more. So I would not drop my movie unless my movie is like has a bigger fan base. Like if I'm doing a Marvel movie, I don't care when I'm dropping it because I know people gonna see my movie. I know people not gonna drop it on the same day as me because my movie is highly anticipated. People gonna want to see my movie. So if you're a director or producer and you think about when to release certain things, you got to think about should I release on a holiday? Should I release it on a Saturday? Should I release it on a Sunday, a Christmas day? You know, like church. If you're doing like a Christmas movie, when it all of that stuff matters. Right. Right. Will you put the movie on an IMAX? Will it be 3D? Well, so 3D, like when they make 3D, I want to ask about I don't know which person is that. Like who has glasses and how they make that? So they just probably like make the TV 3D and just put on glasses. That's how 3D, or that's the person that thought about it. That's they want they move. Well, you have to shoot it in a specific way. So you have to know that your movie is going to be in 3D. So it's the production. I thought it was just theater. Well, they have both. Like you got to say, okay, this is going to be 3D. So the theater can, what theater to go into know it's 3D. But what I'm starting to see is a lot of movies. I used to watch a lot of movies in 3D when they came out. But a lot of people aren't making 3D movies as much anymore. And a lot of people aren't seeing 3D movies as much because one, it's expensive. It's expensive now. Like those tickets are like double or something. People ain't got money. Yeah. And most people not gonna spend that for any movie. Like it's gotta be like Avengers movie or a Star Wars movie. Yeah. But like if it's something like
Super Mario Bros. Or something. I mean, the kids might like it, but like, do you really need to do it in 3D? I mean, you might just do it just because, like, you won't really get penalized for it. But I just know it's expensive, so people may not have that money to see a 3D movie. But it could be a better experience. So that's important too. But IMAX, you say you never heard of that? IMAX is basically the biggest screen ever in the theater. So I don't know if you ever go to like Marcus or AMC and you see they have like a certain section in the movie theater in the far back. It's called the IMAX theater, and it's the biggest screen. Hold on, let me see. You might see this next time you go to the movies. When you walk in, if you go to, it's usually in the far back because it's the biggest screen. So IMAX is basically the biggest screen ever for any theater. So that means the colors are better and the audio is better. So and you pay more for it too. You pay like double, triple almost.
You already paying $15.
But the experience though, that's what people are paying for, the experience. And then if it's in 3D IMAX, so that's 3D and IMAX. So you paying like $50 for a ticket plus popcorn plus yeah, yeah, they do all that stuff too. But damn, I'm trying to. But we'll talk about why movies are better in IMAX too, because some movies are shot in IMAX, and if you don't watch them in IMAX theaters, you won't see the full thing. We'll talk about that. But if you ever go to the movies, when you go in your movie, before you go in your movie or after, go to the far back. You'll see a theater with a sign that says IMAX. And just go inside of it, and you'll see how big that screen is, bro. Like that shit's huge. Like it's crazy. It's crazy. It takes over the whole whole wall, and yeah. So these movies are typically look better, sound better, and just a better experience overall. So we'll get deeper into IMAX. But yeah, you might hear some movies that say, movie released in IMAX. That's what that is. It's the biggest screen possible in a theater. Have you ever heard of 4D? Like 3D and then 4D? Like if you heard 4D, what would you think? 3D is like, seems like that's the most you can ever get. But what will 4D be?
Better with eyesight or something?
Well,
4D like 2025.
well, 4D close. Well, good guess. But 4D is immersive experience. So if you ever been on those rides for like Universal Studios or yeah, and they spray water on you and like heat up your seat and shake the seat and happen to you, that's 4D. It's a more immersive experience. And some movies are made that way. They're not usually they usually aren't do good. They don't usually do good in theater because most people don't want to do all that. They just want to sit and watch it. Maybe 3D, that's fine, but yeah, like it depends on the movie. Yeah, I've done a couple 4D movies. It's weird. Like I did it just to try. Yeah, you got to pay it. Oh, absolutely, you got to pay extra. It's a different kind of theater. Like it's not just a regular theater you just walk into. It's a certain seat. It's a certain like actual theater they make it specifically for 4D. But I didn't really like it. It was too much. It kind of took me away. I like to just watch the movie, and I mean 3D is okay, but all the shaking and flaming for like heat and water squirting and stuff, I don't really need all that. I kind of just want to watch it. Good sound, good visuals. That's cool with me. But 4D, yeah, like it's different seats. Like they shake it and spray water and heat at you. I don't need all that. So, but you definitely got to pay more for this. Like, So you basically going into the movie theater. So let's say a movie came out in 3D and you went to a movie theater, you paying $50 for a movie ticket, and you know you're gonna get popcorn. So that's like an extra $15. So that's $65 right there. And then you want to drink and some candy, that's another $10 or $12. So that's like $70.
Like the small would be like $6.
The large is like not, and it's like I'm gonna just get the large.
You look at it like, all right, $2.
Like it ain't. It really is to them. It takes them 50 cents to make that. And you giving them $10, so they making more than double. They making 6 times, 7 times as much as you spent, because they got to get money.
It's not nothing you can do to change it, but like they get better, I guess.
I mean, they do renovate them. Like they give you, like they have bars now, and some of them town. Yeah, right. But that's how they get money, because they don't get all the money from the box office. They get a small percentage, but they don't get the money, so they need to charge you for those tickets. I mean, for that food, and that's why they so strict on not sneaking food into the theater. Like when you was a kid, you used to sneak food, and they used to say hide it so they don't catch you. Yeah, because they don't search you. But back in the day, they used to be doing it. Yeah, like, and they don't care anymore. Like they don't. Yeah, right. And because it's just young kids, they don't even want to be there. They just scan your ticket. They don't even care if sometimes if you scan it. Like it's way too lenient.
That's why a lot of these companies close down for these workers. It's really the workers.
Yeah, they don't enforce it.
The workers don't care how the company works.
Right. And I was just talking to my friend about this too, like kind of unrelated to this, but related, like amusement parks now. The people working there, I don't know if you've been seeing, it's been a lot of like accidents on amusement park, like the ride's been shaking, people falling off, and yes, Final Destination.
They said the worker let him get on the ride, but they said the thing didn't lock.
Then strap him in.
His weight or something. He was over the weight limit already. He never even got on the ride. They said the worker, like, I guess the worker let him get up he ended up going like it was a drop. So when they were gonna drop,
He fell out that mud. I saw that.
Like 16 or something.
I saw that.
Football player. I was like, that's.
And the workers aren't doing their job. They on the phone.
It's not even that they don't care.
Like they too distracted. They don't care. Like it's simply, if you would have said, okay, this is how much you weigh. But like for something like that, like you gotta take, like movie theaters, like that's not that. But like for like an amusement park where somebody's safe, like you gotta make sure people are strapped in that mud. Like I saw it falling out. Yeah. And then it was one ride, it was shaking and it was about to tip over, and people had to stand on it to make. Yeah. And the boats were about to come out, and bro, I'm not going on that stuff no more. Nah, bro.
I'm not thinking about that all the time. I used to be scared to play like after so done, scared to play now, like just for C.L.I.C.K.
Yeah, like the chances of the chances of it happening are rare, but it's still increasing because it's young kids. They don't even want to work. They just trying to get a paycheck, so they're not looking at to see if you safely in or not. So you got to double check. That's why, like, if I go to the music park with my kids, I'm not trusting what they say. I'm gonna look for myself and see, is this right? Because I've been there all the time. I'm not going anymore. It was wood, and it was wooden. Yeah, bro. I'm not getting on any of this stuff with these kids, bro. They don't care. I'm not getting on any of it, bro. They don't care, bro. 16, like
they don't do like they don't do no really check. They
no.
Train them
no.
Train like regular mini train.
They probably train them for a couple days, and they do the little test online and just skip the button, don't read it. That's what I'm saying.
That's why I said they can test the rad one, but I mean that helps.
No, yeah, that ain't enough though. I need you to double check. People don't double check. They just go, bro. Yeah. Nah, bro. Now I'm saying nowadays, this is and I know like most of the time probably won't have, but I've just been seeing, and that's probably just me being like on social media and just paranoid and just seeing stuff more and more. But like, I'm just not. I don't want to. I just know how it is nowadays. Right. Yeah. 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 Right. Right. It's just crazy. But yeah, so yeah, we didn't really get into CapCut because we was kind of having a discussion. So um we'll get into that next week. And talk a little bit about it. Um but yeah, man, that's all I got today. We're gonna go into CapCut next week because we're kind of talking. So we're gonna do green screen next week and transitions, get into CapCut. Yeah, and show you how to take it out and put something in front of it. Yep. Yep. And, yeah, yeah, yeah. And it's bro, it's literally it's 2 steps. It's think of film in front of it, take the footage, put it in a computer, take the green out, and replace it with what you want to put in. You just replace it. But we got the hard part is there's really no hard part. It's just learning how to take the green out. Yeah, but it's really not gonna be because it's just easy. So, but yeah, we're gonna get into that too. So I'm gonna bring my camera and do some stuff with that. So, but yeah, any questions about anything else? All right. Well, Elaine comes in about a minute or two. So, yeah. Yeah. Oh yeah, no, yeah. I'm done anyway. All right. Yep. Let's go.
Yes. How you doing? Is it live online?
No, Gabrielle. Yeah, and there. So that's
Yes.
oh no, we were just saying who was here today. Um, yeah. Yeah, I'm on do it. Well, you might be able to do it, but if you used to the HDMI, you should just use that. But I think you actually can do that AirPlay way. I don't. Oh, maybe you do. Yeah, maybe you do.
Yeah.
Ain't no wrong with that. They still, man, that's all that matters. All right, Gabrielle, have a good rest of your day. I'm about to sign off, and Elaine's gonna take over.
I think it's on now. There I am. Good evening, Gabrielle. Oh, was it on there? Oh, thank you. Hmm.
So,
Hi. Mm.
yeah, I'm down for that.
Mm. Like, bro, finally, I finally got it. Finally. Sweet success. You passed through a tough level. Yes. Gabby, it's on. No, this is disgusting. Secondly, why did you expose your body? You look creepy perverts. Gabby, I think you're off mute. Huh? Oh, you're off of mute. Crap, sorry. No worries. So, thank you for joining us today. We're going to talk about data privacy and esports. And I was looking for this brief video to give a little bit of background on privacy. But let me make sure this is. Let me transfer this over. Hold on, let me share this with you. Oh, hold on. Mm-hmm. Here we go.
Over the past few years, amidst lockdowns and working from home, we've been online more than ever. And so has our data. And with widespread data sharing comes an increase in data concerns. Nearly 3/4 of internet using households in America are concerned about their online privacy. Specifically, worries over online services collecting our data have been trending upward in recent years. But while we may fear what happens to our data, it doesn't actually take a whole lot to convince us to give it away, because it's hard to resist free stuff. One report shows that more than half of consumers are comfortable, or even very comfortable, giving up their personal info to retailers for a good deal. Although what we're willing to share varies. We'll let go of contact info before our credit card activity. Our anxiety over sharing our own info has a name: the privacy paradox. We often fail to protect our data while still worrying about our online privacy. In online retail transactions, that's because the price we pay to buy something on the internet is our info: an email, a name, a shipping address. We're asked to share our data so often that we don't have a clear sense of ownership over it anymore. It's hard to control our own info. Economists call this phenomenon data as an externality, a side effect of a commercial activity that isn't reflected in the cost of goods and services involved. Kind of like how bees kept for honey still pollinate surrounding crops. When we shop online, we're like those honeybees. As we share our data with one company, we pollinate a host of external sites and tools with our information. And even though we may not like it, we've gotten very used to it. For instance, when we share our birthday with a brand for a birthday freebie or a discount, we're actually giving them demographic information they can use and share. Great for retailers, but what about consumers? The value exchange for personal data is either unclear or seems unfair. In fact, one survey found that more than 80% of consumers interviewed have no idea what companies do with all this information, or how to access it, or how long they keep it for. But the more informed people are about who owns their data and how it's being used, the more willing they are to share it. Research shows that transparency benefits everyone, implying that even more than 54% might be willing to share their data if they see a clear value exchange, creating an opportunity for companies to build trusting relationships with their customers by being transparent about how they're using data and only collecting information that they actually need. So, what do you think your data is worth? Let us know in the comments.
So how often? Let's see. Pause this. So this class, we're going to talk about data and privacy in video gaming. I gave you a quick introduction into data and privacy because it's important to know what is considered private or protected information and why privacy is so important, right? So in this class, we're going to learn why is player data and privacy important? What are the main challenges and threats? Why do you think it's important to protect your data? To stay safe from things like what?
Not getting hacked, because you go online, so you have to.
Right, yeah, getting hacked, stealing your bank account, stealing your identity, right? Someone can take your identity and
How do you do that? How do you do
I don't know exactly how they do it, but they can take your information once you put.
I be really happy to my grandma, so I'm like she just randomly say something about not like how do
And people call, if your grandmother has a phone and the scammers will call and say, hey, I need this. Can I have your social security number? Can I have your birthday, your address? And when they start, is this your correct name? And when you start giving them sensitive information that's private, they can take that. Yeah, or create accounts in your name that they then take from, or it happens all the time. People scam people all the time. And some of the main challenges and threats in the video, they talked about how easily we give away our information. Just think about when you're online, how often you've given up your email address and your phone number. Always, right? We don't even think about it. But some information we don't give as easily, like our credit card numbers or our social security numbers. Address, maybe, every time you shop, if they send something to your house, you're likely to be given your address, right? But it's for a specific. Not really, but sometimes companies will be hacked and then they have to let you know that your privacy was breached. So they'll let you know. Maybe have your address, credit card number, full name, and date of birth. And that's kind of all you need to then use that information. Create an account.
In the army.
To get in the who?
Like put you in the arm.
To put you in harm?
In the army. If I got your stuff, or you need some school.
I think you need some skill them to get Army. Yeah. They probably, and then you have to show up. You probably have a physical ID and stuff like that too.
People be on TikTok talking about putting them in the army.
Really?
They said on TikTok, putting them in the army. Somebody came to his house and he got to go to the army.
Oh, I don't know about that. Maybe times have changed, but when they get there and they see it's not the same person, or you don't want to go, you don't have to. And then we have to think about ways companies can protect players against data breaches and privacy. So what is, yeah, absolutely, absolutely. Benefits and opportunities and some of the best resources. Absolutely. Yeah. You can continue to enjoy this.
TikTok popping up telling me to buy stuff. And like like they make their own fake app for the car. But don't get scammed.
Don't get scammed. Mm-hmm. And see how easy it is because something can look fake. We in our last class we had someone who would sell kind of knockoff clothes and it looks real. Just the same way a website can look real and it isn't, or it could be selling something. The way artificial intelligence works nowadays. If I say something near my phone, it's listening. It'll start showing me those things. Yeah, absolutely. And so if I'm thinking about buying a new computer, right, and they know I want an Apple, I might start seeing ads for Apple computers as low as $12 or $200 when they're really $2,000. Yeah. So I might buy that $200 computer and then I'll never get my money back, right? Yeah. So that's how they get you. Oh yes, for sure. That is what happens. And different apps do it too. So it's not just, yeah.
I know with like Instagram and Snapchat, like they get hacked about so your information on net. So that's why I don't never like put like real stuff on social media. I know they always get hacked. People always hack.
I can imagine because they have so many users, right?
Always hack.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely they are. Absolutely. So obviously player data and privacy is important because we want to have trust in our systems. We want to make sure that players, when I sign up for a video game, that's all I'm signing up for. Video games also some require that you pay money or continuously pay money. I know my child asks me for Roblox every other minute. So when I'm putting my bank account information and I'm buying him Robux, should I have an expectation of privacy? Should I trust that this site will ensure that my information isn't stolen? And if I can trust it, I'm likely to continue to pay into it, right? They kind of have bought loyalty. So that's what we gain by like that respect and the benefits of protecting our privacy. We want to make sure that we can garner trust in our consumers, and if the customers trust me, they're likely to use me over and over again, which means in turn, I'm likely to make more and more money. It also allows gaming companies to create like personalized and engaging experiences. So the more protections you have, the more builds out of your game that you can provide. Right now, I can continue to develop my game because now I'm being compensated, so I can continuously look to develop this game and make sure everyone can enjoy it. And when they enjoy those features and that content, they come back, right? So that's why it's important for data and privacy, because the more I can trust the game, the more I can trust the website, the more I can trust the company, the more likely it is that I come back. And then I will likely refer my friends and family to the same website, game, company, and they'll continue to come back. So it really enhances my business that way. The third thing is that they ensure that game companies comply with laws and regulations. Now, why do you think the government has an interest in securing our privacy and our data?
Oh, statement. Because can we sue?
Not necessarily. You might not be able to sue the government. Well, consumerism is a benefit to the government, right? You're paying taxes. They want you to continue to consume. But when someone steals your identity or your information, and let's say they take money out of your bank account, what is your recourse? What can you do to get your money back? Yeah, if you have fraud on your account, what can you do?
I didn't have to do it. I like you just call like your trade whoever call them, tell them what happened. They call actual question. But I know like but now like with Chase do a little better now. If you buy some of your cards, they send a text to your phone. Like a text like the be or not be like no like that.
They will do stuff like that, but it's important. So what you said is right, spot on. Banks are backed by the government, the federal government backed banks. So up to a certain amount of money, your money is federally insured. So when I call and say someone stole $10,000, the bank will give me my money back, but the federal government is insuring that. It's like an insurance for a bank.
I always wondered like that. So the government your government give your money back, not the bank. The government give you back.
Yeah, kind of like an insurance policy. Yeah, depending on the amount. So you can write off a certain amount. And that's important because the banks, that's why federal laws and regulations exist. We don't want to have this kind of rogue environment where people are stealing people's identities, all this fraud where you don't know who is who. I can't, I don't know. I'm trying to hire somebody. Tell grandma, do not share anything, not even her name. Not even her name. No. So I would say make sure that what do I have it as? 8:30, not 15. That's why it's important, right? So, and not just in the United States, but in different countries, like the GDPR in Europe, CCPA in California. You want to avoid fines and lawsuits, and the government has a vested interest because in order for us to trust in our consumerism environment, we have to know that my money will be protected in the bank because before banks, everybody had their money under the mattress, right? In their pocket. They say under the mattress. But you had your money in your house, in the safe, in your pockets. And they created banks so people can have a safe place to go, but also because banks are like this bartering system. I might put my cash in the bank, but is my physical cash sitting in the bank? No, it's not, right? They are investing and getting money and they're giving it back to other people. My cash is going absolutely, it's in someone else's hand. My money is in someone else's hand. It's in your account. Well, that means they're holding that money for you. They're holding the amount for you.
So if you need to get it.
It's available to you. Correct.
Come back in.
Yeah. And plus, it's the thought process is it's making money. And the bank doesn't have a large amount of funds on site. So if you came and said, hey, I need to withdraw $100,000. And so, they're going to have to figure out how to withdraw that. So those types of large deposits and withdrawals don't just happen every day. And it's not on site at the bank. So the same way they have interest-based savings and you gain money off of that and off the market. So that's why it's a benefit for the federal government to make sure there's laws and regulations, in place to make sure that we're protecting our privacy and our data so that we're not stealing from everyone. And now it's illegal to do that, right? But now there are some challenges and some threats. Now, who are some what population do you think is most vulnerable? What population? Elderly, very vulnerable, right? You see how your grandma keeps getting, yeah. And then elderly and who else?
I would say child. Yeah, beat my head.
Sure.
Or but like I'll go on the app, like I'll go on Google or something, and then it say put my number. I don't be thinking twice. I stopped doing that. Like I was kept doing put my email, put my number in. That's how my grandma said they were sending me like a little spam text or stuff.
Yeah.
And I put my Gmail too many apps. So if I stopped doing that, then we bad like go car bad off Sheen and stuff, and those cars down and get hacked by these but companies.
That's true. That's true. And then think about younger kids. Younger kids are playing video games more and more. So when my son is on there, he think he could just use his thumb to buy another game, and then, or when they have like the in-app purchases, and they're like, "Oh, mom, this will just let me, view it. I don't need to buy it, but in fact, you have purchased it and you use my credit card." So now we have to have these other protections in place because they're so vulnerable. It makes it a challenge. So not just that, but these hackers have become more and more sophisticated, right?
They just getting better at what they're doing.
They getting better. They are getting.
They go at people. There's people that's like my mom, they like 30, 40 that still can get because they still like back stuff in their car, all the website stuff in their car and stuff.
Absolutely. And when you think about it, you're like, you might think it's safe, but they're becoming more so sophisticated that it's a danger that doesn't immediately stand out. And so game companies face all types of challenges and threats related to player and private data risks. We see data breaches all the time, cyber attacks. And when those things happen, this is where we see financial loss, identity theft, and reputational damage or harm. When we have reputation, when it's a negative reputation, if I put my credit card on Shein, I might get hacked. How are you likely to continue using that site? No, right? You don't want to use it. You don't want to keep buying stuff if every time I buy something, I get hacked. So those are some of the challenges. But just like anybody else, gaming companies are required to comply with different data protections and privacy laws, including notifying you of a data breach or a cyber attack. Sometimes they provide you with they'll allow you to review your credit report for the next year and make sure no one is using your name or your likeness, your name or your information for using your credit, right? But a benefit, maybe a reason, kind of too. What is a reason why a gaming company might collect your birthday? Why might it be necessary or of interest for a gaming company to have your birthday?
I have a birthday. Why? Let me say like why? Good thing, why it's bad.
A good thing.
Good thing. I mean, just to give you what, like my game, like my birthday market, they give you rewarding, but they trying to get it or something. But that's what they can know and something relatable. You know, do being like a good person for like a brand or whatever.
Yeah, they can reward you, and that makes you keep coming back. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And the birthday can also let them know how old you are. What's your demographic? So they know how to, yeah. And so the restrictions too, absolutely. If you're too young,
Not even just have. They need to have. Hey, hey, they don't really know.
yeah, that's very true. And when you think about it, not just that, but now that I know your age, I might know everyone who's playing this game, and now I know who to market to, right? So if the average age is 25, if I want to diversify my gamers, then I might try to go everybody above 40, everybody below 18. Maybe this is my market so I can get more people. That'll work. Or if this demographic is working for me, then I might put out more games that hit my market base. I'm gonna put out games that appeal to, 18 to 30-year-olds because I know the average age is 25. So that's a challenge, balancing collecting that data with the potential threats that may also be kind of waiting in the wings for you. Um, and there might be other games that need less data to be more effective. So now I'm competing with other games and other companies that don't have to rely on this amount of data. Instead, they're able to be effective um, by using minimal information. Okay, any questions about that? So, how can game companies protect player data and privacy? So, you mentioned it before. What?
Help.
Mm,
That be friends like I have to have you as a friend to see
correct.
like that deal without being my friends.
Yeah. So there you go. The two-step verification, building in additional.
Get your information like it'll send it to your number.
Yeah,
That's cool.
absolutely.
I got them. I like you that on my camera. It'd be bad if you break that phone and got that number.
Well, they do it now. It's different. So I know Apple used to have it where on your phone you had to accept or whatever because it'll send it directly to your phone. But now it'll be like, is there another way you need to receive this information? And they can send it to your email. Correct. They can send it to your email. Yeah. And now we have biometrics. Your fingerprint, your face, your eyes, right? It's a lot of new stuff.
You can log into your phone. I can let you like that's the way iPhone could do like you can your COVID man. It's an option where you can like COVID man.
Wow.
You do it like that. I think the neck off your ass too. I think.
See, there you go. I never even knew that. But how we evolve and how science evolves, technology evolves is very important because now we're past using like a basic password because they've been hacked so many times. At my former employer, instead of having a password, we had a passphrase. And it had to be, instead you might use, Elaine 123 is my password. Now I had to give you at least 30 characters. So it was a passphrase. So they say, think of things like, I like cookies and milk. And that's your password. I like cookies and milk.
But yeah, it's some things you got to think out the box for password. Don't use your first last name.
Right.
Don't use your birthday.
Your social security number.
Yeah, certain stuff.
Don't use 123.
Certain stuff people automatically go to.
Yeah, absolutely. We don't want to use those things at all. So data minimization and anonymization techniques such as hashing hashtags, right? Masking or aggregation can be employed to remove or reduce the identifiable or sensitive elements of the player data. And just like anything else, data governance and accountability should be established and enforced Because when you're not meeting the expectations, when you don't have those security measures in place, I should be able, if someone steals my information, it's likely I'm going to sue, right? I know that I have the ability to sue. So as a company, as a corporation, you might want to protect yourself by one, putting these things in place, having some type of accountability, making sure you're reviewing your policies and procedures to make sure you're managing player data and privacy. Um, and last but not least, right? Education. We have to explain this information. Tell people, teach them what appropriate data privacy and management looks like. Educate your employees, your partners, and the players about the importance of data protection and privacy. So, I mean, I have a password. Should I write my password on a sticky note and keep it on my desktop?
No.
No, right? Make sure it's a unique password that doesn't have that kind of identifying information, just like you said. Make sure it's not easily it's not, it's so funny because parents normally use like their youngest child's name. So we want to make sure or their youngest child's birthday. We want to make sure it's not that easy to gain access to this private information that can at the end of the day be harmful for you long term. And also um, it can cause the gaming company, it can cost them money in services. So they don't want to lose money because they don't want to lose players, and they also don't want to lose money because now they have to contend with these lawsuits. So when we talk about benefits and opportunities, game companies can reap numerous benefits and open up new opportunities by protecting player data and privacy. Talked about that. Improve customer satisfaction. I'm happy with this game. I feel safe. I've built trust in this game. I'll continue to come back. Now we have retention, right? Now I'm a loyal customer. And I I have free marketing. So not only am I a loyal customer, you retain me, but now everybody that I talk to, I'm like, hey, you should join this game too. Get on this app, buy this app because I find it to be safe. Um, they can also use that information to invent as innovation, right? We want to, like I said before, use the demographic. We can use our personal private information to tap into the demographic that is currently our highest demographic that uses this particular game, or to tap into that untapped demographic, right? The older people or the younger people, the boys versus the girls, bringing new and fresh blood to the market, to the marketplace, who are interested, who may be interested in this game. And it also keeps you on your toes. It allows you to continue to recreate yourself, recreate your games, um, make it more interesting to all people. And then as a side effect to that, you also have retention. Right? So some of the best resources when we talk about data protection, um, we talked about this earlier, the International Game Developers Association. That's a global network of game developers that provide resources and guidance, including data protection and privacy. It's global because we know gaming in and of itself is a global phenomenon. It doesn't just happen in the United States, it happens all over the world, right? The IGDA has a data rights working group that publishes papers, reports, and recommendations on data privacy and protection and best practices for game developers. So even when you're thinking about creating your own games, um, just know that there needs to be an aspect or concept of data and privacy protection. We also have the Entertainment Software Association. It's a trade association that represents the U.S. game industry, advocating for its interests and policies. This is kind of a one-stop shop location. We want to make sure that your games are in compliance with U.S. laws and regulations. So the Entertainment Software Association is kind of your main tool or resource that you can use to ensure that level of compliance. Because when you put out games or develop content that is not in compliance, then you run the risk of being fined, being shut down. And you want to avoid that at all costs. And then we also have the Fair Play Alliance. It's a coalition of game companies that promotes fair play, healthy principle, healthy communities, and online gaming. It's important because, healthy online community is a community that's not really like stealing from each other. That's not stealing each other's information. Um, they want to have a safe space where they can trust, and the Fair Play Alliance helps create that dynamic. It also has a privacy and data ethics framework to outline the principles and practices for gaming companies, because we always are going to think about the respect and protection of player data and privacy while trying to maintain trust amongst players, users, developers, all of the above. Um, so in order to continue to make the internet and gaming an exciting place, where we revisit over and over again, our data protection and our privacy is extremely important to this entire concept as a whole. Does that make sense? Yeah. You have any questions? Any other data or privacy concerns that stick out to you?
It's really
Not today, because again, it's more and more sophisticated, but you can minimize it. You can minimize it. Have I ever been hacked? Yeah, yeah, man. I've been well. I went to a restaurant. My
hell, sir.
Took
a picture of it.
No, I don't know how they got the information. Maybe they downloaded the information, but right after I left the restaurant, this was a few years ago, they purchased like 6 cell phones using my credit card.
Yeah, I saw something like that. I watched some cops. I thought a waitress took a picture of it and bought something about a couple of still eating. They called the police to the restaurant. I watched something like that.
Oh, wow. See, that's sophisticated. You're right. I mean, there's no way to truly eliminate it, but with these data protections, we can minimize your risks. We can't truly eliminate it, but we can certainly try our best to minimize it. I know. Well, do you tell your grandma to stop giving out her information, right?
Well, it was something and I just like she always like they always felt like they didn't get she had a little thing bought something and they done 5 times.
Oh yeah.
On Amazon, they always do the same thing, trying to love now again go big all the time.
Yeah.
They always do that. But all they do the same thing all the time. The company that say I'm sorry, see about them cards.
Yeah, that's it. That's it. They'll disconnect that car and give you a new one. And just think about how technology is today. I don't need my wallet anymore, because what do I have? My cell phone, and I can tap to pay. Right? So just think about that. And I watched this show, kind of sci-fi show now on Hulu, and everybody had, they're like in the alternate world. Everybody has like a wristband, And that's what they use to tap to pay for everything. Every single thing. This little device on their wrist.
But they got limit.
Yeah, well, like they must, because nothing in that community costs. Um, but yeah. So when we think about that, we think about where technology will lead us in the next 10, 15, 20 years, we could just think about the evolution of technology and how data protection and privacy is so important to our next phase. Otherwise, you'll have people stealing eyeballs to get your information, right? That we think about that in kind of those sci-fi movies. But if you use your eyes to as your bank account, I wouldn't be surprised if people crime goes up. People might start to try to steal that uh, in order to get access to your bank, to your money, right? Okay. All right. Well, I won't hold you. I'll give you about 8 minutes back. This is a great session. You know,
No left street. I got
Aramis. Yeah.
it.
Huh?
I be getting teams come from different days.
Yeah. Yeah, I can believe it. So you come to Monday, Wednesday, Friday.
Monday, Wednesday, Friday.
Yeah. Monday, Wednesday, Friday. And what school do you go to?
Bloom.
Oh, you go to Bloom too.
I used to go to Bloom though. I like both. They both. It's really the same. So I go to Bloom Trail now.
Yeah, okay. Okay.
All right. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Aramis Singleton. Today, this is the intro to music production class. This is an intro to music production class. And today we're going to do a real quick video. We're going to do a lecture, and I'm going to give you Keenan the rest of the time working your beat. And Gabby, I just want you to pay attention to what I'm going to talk about. So today I'm going to talk about the money chords, or specifically the 145 chords, right? So today we're going to talk about a little bit of instrumentation and how you put instrumentation within your production, right? So we've been talking about drum patterns, for the past 2-3 weeks. And right now you probably have a somewhat idea of how a drum pattern works, right? You want to have some spacing with your drums, put your claps on, or your snares, or your snaps, or whatever you're going to use on your 3 and your 7s. And with regards to your channel rack, if you have at a 32 length, pattern length, 3 and your 7s are usually where people have it at. You can feel your hi-hats every 2 steps, things of that nature, right? So right now you want to add instrumentation, right? Because you always, for the most part, when you start beats, you want to start your drums first, and then you do instrumentation, right? This is something that a lot of producers, Metro Boomin, Pharrell, Timbaland, Dr. Dre, Just Blaze, Southside, TM808, they all say the same thing. Start off with your drums first, and then add instrumentation later, right? And one of the easiest ways to do that is with something called the money chords, or the 145 chords. So some real quick music theory, real quick, right? Most popular music, I just don't mean like pop music like Taylor Swift, Lady Gaga. I'm not talking about that. Just popular music, period. So a lot of hip hop is popular music, a lot of rock, stuff like that. You can probably string a lot of random songs from different genres along with just 3 chords, right? The 145 chords, right? So, real quick story. I went to a University of Michigan football game. It was a homecoming game, I want to say 2-3 years ago. In a halftime show, they did some music theory, the money chords, or the 145 chords. And they pretty much played a bunch of songs from different genres. I'm talking about pop, rap, rock, country, and they was able to switch very, very fluently with a song from country music to a rap song, to a rock song, to a pop song because of the 145 chords. No, I'm talking about like they're playing in the middle of a verse of a Big Sean song.
Y'all talking about like how they like switch it up.
Yeah.
I'm asking how they like, is it just like the ending of the last song, start of this song?
No, I'm talking about like in the middle. Like they're playing like the middle of the verse of a Big Sean song, because that's the rap song they use. They play the middle of I Don't Mess With You. And in the middle of the song, it switched into like a Taylor Swift song, like flawlessly because of the three chords, the money chords, right? The 145 chorus is called that because they get the most money. In a lot of big records that you hear that are top 10, top 20, top 25, they use the same three chords. Get the money chords in the same three chords. I'm going to play a little bit of this video. I'm not going to play the whole thing because it's kind of a bit boring. So I'm not going to bore you with that. But I am going to play a little bit of it though, just explaining what the 145 chords are, and then I can't do an example, but I will show you Keenan an example real quick. I will get the keyboard from out of there, and then we'll go from there. And I'll give you the rest of the time working on music. So I'll give you 1 second.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to Amy Nolte Music. This is my third episode in my Back to Basics series for rock and pop piano. A cool thing happened this week. My husband, John, who you've probably seen on my channel a time or two before, watched my video. Well, he watches all my videos. He's awesome that way. But he did watch my video from last week and the week before, and he said, these are videos that I think can really help me. So I walked into our bedroom one day and he was sitting there with a guitar. It's something I haven't seen him do in a long time. And he was working on a song. I'll grab it to show you a little bit. But he was working on a song, like an old folk song that I think he had heard our daughter sing in her choir or something. Oh, Shenandoah, I long to hear you. And then he switched to F. Away, you rolling river. Back to C. Oh, Shenandoah. And he stayed right there. I long to hear you.
Fast forward just a little bit.
One of these two is going to be your money chord. So I said, try both of them. And I don't remember which one he tried first, but da 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 ba da 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 da. And he goes, nope, that's not it. And I said, try the other one. Da 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 da. And he went, oh my gosh, that's it. And then he was so smart. He's very smart. He goes, okay, so D minor must be, you already told me that it can be a substitute for F, and that has to be because it's got these two notes in common. I said, yes, that's exactly right. And then he said, what about if I'm playing on G sometimes? He said, because it has these two notes in common with E minor, does that make E minor like a common substitute for the G chord when the G chord doesn't sound quite right? And I said, yes, that's it. Like, so, I mean, that's pretty much it. That's what I'm teaching you today. Sometimes when C doesn't sound right, it might be A minor instead. It might be E minor instead. Sometimes when F doesn't sound right, it might be D minor instead. I mean, it also has these notes in common with A minor, but you know, the 4 sound is, if you think that a 4 chord sounds good over something, chances are you're right about that, and it needs this F note. So usually the D minor is the proper substitute for the F chord, and you won't really ever, I don't think you'll be confused about these two chords. And then for G, the E minor could be, you know, a substitute. And with those extra chords, I just told him that, and he actually made something. This is it. It was right here. He made this little chart, and although it's not perfect, it works for him. And when he started out making this, he said he started writing a C and then an E minor, but then he figured, well, you told me to practice things in a couple different keys. And he said, I think I know all these chords in the key of G. So if I just write numbers, then I can play, instead of a C chord later, I can play a G chord here and then a B minor here. The thing that he didn't do quite correctly is that when we write in Roman numerals, for music theory, anytime something's minor, we write lowercase. So it should be 3 lowercase i's. But, you know, he just wrote a capital 3 with a little minor dash, which is a common jazz nomenclature device. So it works for him. It's great. And so now he's got a formula that he can play that song in any key. I don't want to talk about Shenandoah today because I don't think everybody knows it. I want to talk about Don't You Want Me Baby by the Human League, because I think that because I think that's a perfect song to illustrate this point. So you guys know that one, right? And I'm going to be careful of copyrights, not to sing the words too much. But working at a waitress in a hotel bar, right? You know that. I think a lot of people know this song. So luckily for us, it's actually in the key of C, and we're going to try to play through a good portion of it just using the 1 chord and the 4 chord and the 5 chord. And since I've already taught you about inversions, I'm going to do it like this because it's a smoother sound and you guys should be getting used to that by now. I was, oh, no lyrics. Da 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 da. Wait a second, that doesn't sound right. It's got to be one of the other 2 chords. Da 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 da. Yes, that's right. So this is a cool song. Starts on the 4 chord. Da 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 da. That's not. But then it does it again. Da 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 da. So just those 2 chords. That's pretty easy. And then it goes. Da da no da 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 da. Don't you don't, and then I'm gonna la 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 in this song, but you could to the key of C. Da 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 da
Okay, that's enough for that. I'm going to use this whiteboard here. Wait 1 second, I'm sorry. Okay, yeah. All right, I'm going to use this whiteboard here to pretty much get across the whiteboard. Whiteboard can be in whatever key, right? It can be in the key of G, it can be in the key of G, key of F, key of E. And pretty much the 1 4 5 chord. 1 1 you can get by only knowing those three chords there, right? I'm getting the keyboard.
That's a 3. That's a 3.
It can be, right? This can be the 1 4 5 chord, but you also do it in just instead of just trying to like jump around from G to F, you can stay in G and do the 1 4 5 chord, like you can stay in F or E and do the 1 4 5 chord for those, right? But for the sake of right now, what I'm talking about, we're going to use the G F E. Right? We're going to use that for 1 4 5 chords. You can get by, use only the one of those chords with your instrumentation. The reason why I want to teach these chords because these chords you're going to hear more likely on the radio. You're going to hear more of these chords on like whatever music you listen to. So he listens to like NBA Youngboy, Kodak. Like, who do you listen to? I used to the Youngboy, Little Dirt. Yeah, so they use these chords a lot. Now it may not be the 1 4 5 chords. It may not be in these keys. It may be a little lower register, just like Little Dirt, right? Because he's on third music, so a lot of his music will be in like the lower register. So think of E sharp, something like E flat, think of something like that. But they use the 1 4 5 chords. You can get by your whole career just knowing those chords, right? Another thing with pianos, instrumentation is that a lot of producers that you know that you probably like a lot, they play by ear. They play the piano, they do not know their chords. They just play by ear. But to have a little bit of music theory, it can give you a little bit of heads up on what you need to know. The 1 4 5 chords is the chords you need to learn. And I'm going to show you those chords in a few minutes on the keyboard. I don't have my regular laptop, so I can't really show you on FL Studio like I usually do. My laptop's in the shop right now. It's really messed up. But I can't really show you that right now. So the 1 4 5 chords I'm showing you on the piano. But yes, you can also just learn to play by ear. If you feel comfortable like that, you can play by ear. A lot of church musicians, they definitely do. They learn how to play by ear. They don't go to school. They're not classically trained. Most of them, they learn to play by ear. It's okay. As long as you can hear it and you can figure it out on the keyboard, you should be all good. Because you're not going to go, make those songs right away. Like, you're not going to go and just play the piano somewhere live right away. So you don't need to worry about that. Okay, give me 1 second. Right now, I'm going to play this video right here, and after this video, I'm going to let you work on your beat.
Will be unique and yours, so pay attention. Also, this video is brought to you by Skillshare. I'm gonna talk a little bit more about them later. Now let's get started and let me show you how to do this. So, how to make great chord progressions if you don't know music theory? Well, it's simple. First, let's start with choosing our sound. The best one to choose probably is the piano, for starters. You can use any piano, you can use FL keys, you can use one from Labs. They actually have like a nice soft piano. We can also use one from FL Studio, which you will find in packs, instruments, keyboard, and it's called Close Grand. This one actually sounds pretty good. And a lot of people don't know about this one, but it's there and we're gonna use this one. So first we wanna go to piano roll by right-clicking, choosing piano roll. And this is where we are going to work. So the first thing, and probably the most important thing, is to set it up. So this is how it should look. And if we go here to this arrow and we go to view, scale highlighting, we can actually choose what scale we want to work with. You can also do automatic, but it can be a little bit confusing for beginners because the automatic one can change from time to time. So I recommend just choosing your scale from the get-go. So let's do major and let's go back and choose our key, and we can do key of C. You can choose any of these, but C will do for now. So now you can see the piano roll changed, and you have some highlighted notes and some darker ones. So the highlighted ones are the ones you can use, and the darker ones are the ones you shouldn't be using. Now you might have seen this in other tutorials, but I'm gonna show you how to navigate through this and how to make chords that always go well together. So
and real quick, it is a really good tip to learn. Like if you want to know how your keys, you know, like your major keys, minor keys, what keys, C, C sharp, C flat, that is a very good tool to use in piano roll because it helps you out a lot. Because like you were saying, right here, if you can see like right here, it's dark. You're probably not going to use that key. But the ones that's in the light, you are going to use more than likely, right? So you see they're like a bit darker shade. Not sounds, it'll teach you chord progression. Like this right here is teaching how to do chord progression. Now, if you talk about like making your own pack, like making your own drums, making your own snares and stuff like that, we can definitely do that too. Also, pretty much with the packs, when you make your own packs, you're pretty much taking the drums from songs. So you're going to try to find a song, and within that song, you're going to try to find the specific drum that you want to isolate and use for your own production. And you will just take that drum, put that in a folder, and then you'll start making your packs. That's how a lot of the packs that I have on my desktop at home, that's how I got a lot of packs. I have, like I said, like a terabyte of just samples. So let's get back to it though real quick.
So to start it off, you can just choose any of these highlighted notes, which are the lighter ones. So let's go lower to C5. And let's start with C, then A, and F. So these are our bass notes. Now to make a chord, it's really simple. You leave 3 spaces in between the note, and then you put a note on the 4th one, and then you leave 2 spaces between and put a note on the 3rd one. And this is a major chord. And as you can see, if we stay in the right key, these will always be on the highlighted notes. So let's do it for the next one. But this time, if you want to leave 3 spaces, as I showed you before, and put a note on the 4th one, you'll land on the darker key, which is not highlighted, which means you cannot use it. So what happens then is you need to do a minor chord instead, which means you'll leave 2 spaces in between and put a note on the 3rd one, and then 3 spaces and put a note on the 4th one. So let me repeat that because it's a little bit confusing. You hear a lot of numbers, but if you want to create a major chord, there will be 3 spaces and then 2 spaces. And that's a major chord. And if you want to create a minor chord, there will be 2 spaces and then 3 spaces. As you could see, if you don't know whether to create a minor or major chord, well, the highlighted notes sort of tell you which one it needs to be.
So this is perfect right here. As you see, he's going to have his in C, right? So it's going to be in the C key. And your major chord will always be with piano roll. In regards to using piano roll, it's going to be 2 spaces and then 3 spaces for the major key. So it'd be G5, 2 spaces, E5, 3 spaces, C5. So that's how that works, right? And then when you go for your minor, it's in reverse. So it'd be E5, 3 spaces, C5, 2 spaces, and then A4. So those are your minor chords. So that's how you learn your major and your minor chords in regard to using FL Studio.
Because it won't let you create a minor chord if there needs to be a major chord. So just remember, you cannot use the darker notes, so always land on the highlighted one. So if you would want to create a minor chord here, which is 2 spaces and then 3, this is how it would look. But as you can see, we have it on the darker part of the grid, and it cannot be there, so you need to move this note on the highlighted one, and then we have a major chord, 3 spaces and 2 spaces. That being said, sometimes it happens that neither one of those works. So what do you do then? So let's see, if we go to C, and then, there's B and it's highlighted, so we can use it, right? So we go to B. Now, let's create that chord again. So we can see there's a highlighted note here, which is the third one, and leaving 2 spaces, which is good, right? We would think that we can do a minor chord here, but then you need 3 spaces and put the note on the fourth one, which is here. But this one is dark, so we cannot use it. And here's how it sounds. So if we do this, we actually are not following the right key. We are not in C major anymore. And if you want to use the highlighted one, you just create a weird chord that doesn't work. So what do you do in this case? If you want to stick to the right key, which you chose, you just don't use this chord because it doesn't fit in the key you are using. So
now, that is true, right? What he's saying, like, if I do something like this, it wouldn't work. But when he played...
we actually are not following the right key.
Okay. When he played this key right here, because like we primarily listen to hip hop rap, hip hop doesn't confine to the same rules as every other genre. We kind of break out that box and do things different. So a chord like this
here, but this one is dark, so we cannot use it. And here's how it sounds. So
a chord like that right there would kind of actually sound good for us, using something like that in a beat, because we don't stay with the same limitations as other genres of music. We kind of break out that box sonically, sound wise, all of that. We kind of break out that box. Like listen to trap, listen to drill, listen to just hip hop. Period. It doesn't have the same forms as like a pop music, country music. They're really more classical. They follow pretty much more of this to a T. Like you want to stay in the same key. We kind of go out of key a lot when we do chords. So I'm going to just fast forward to right here.
Try a different scale. I'm going to go here, view, scale highlighting, and I'm going to do minor natural. So we have a minor scale now, and we have different notes that we can use and different ones that we cannot use. But same rules apply. So let's create an actual chord progression here. So I'm going to start with C, then maybe A sharp. Something like this. So I chose my bass notes, and now let's fill them out with chords. Starting with C. Once again, 2 spaces or 3 spaces, whichever has the highlighted notes. In this case, it's the one with 2 spaces and the third note. Then this one. As you can see, once you get it, it's really simple. You just fill in the notes. And as you can see here, we have our chord progression ready. All of the notes are on the highlighted grid. We have major and minor chords, depending on which ones were needed in that case. And here is how it sounds. Let's slow it down. Okay, now we have a chord progression that is sort of boring, but it works. You can definitely make a song out of this. Let's make it more spicy, I guess. So the first thing you can do is select all of your bass notes, which are the lowest notes you chose. So hold Control and press mouse and hold Shift if you're going to select multiple ones. And then once they are selected, hold Shift and move them 1 octave lower. 1 octave means if you're starting with C5, you want to end up on C4. So hold Shift, move it. So now we have the bass notes one octave lower, but we also still have them on the same octave as before, and it sounds like this. And I feel like we can even move them lower, so select them again, hold Control, arrow down, and we have them 2 octaves lower.
And that's how you make a bass line with your instrumentation, right? So these right here up top would be your chords right here, your major and minor chords for your chord progression. And then you want like a little bass line or just a little more bass within that piano, you would just put them right here. You wouldn't do a major and minor, you just do the keys, so follow the chord progression. All right, so what time is it? It is 7:24. So I'm gonna give you the rest of the time to work on your beat. I'm about to come over and show you how you would do your chord progressions. So go ahead, open up FL Studio, King. You already open. You mentioned it already.
Yeah, we already did that screen. Okay, so let's do this first thing. All right, so you got to get what you're working on. Let this say last time, yeah, okay. So let's use flexibility. That's good. Okay. You know what I'm saying? Right here, so you get to your piano. Instrumentation, keyboards, instruments, keyboard, and close, put it in right click, to the channel. Right? That's how you get the now. You get to the piano. Right click it. It's your piano. Right. So as you see, you got your keys, but you want the other keys too. The other keys to share something. So they see us, so these are your keys right there, right? So it's C6, C7, but we're gonna go to C5. This usually starts with keys. So like you say, you can start with keys, do the major, right here. Two, right here. It should.
Right. So that's a force right there. That's actually 145. Right. So you can use this to take it off, trick it off this thing. So right, if I don't want to just, do what I just did, you can do a lot of like this. Do this right this way. From C. Take this right here, highlighted one. So you can double down key if you want to do a lower key, you could. So or you do something like this. The good part about this is that you can so doing a select. So you have to select that that's the 3/4. Control C, which is copy, Control V, which is paste, paintbrush, and then put it whatever key. So let's say you want to do something like this. Just click on using your mouse is better in Studio because you don't get accidents. Using your mouse is better because the touchpad sucks because now you can define it. Just click on it, just click on the select. Right there. And you already got it selected. If you want to do it again, go back. So go back and get all the buttons. So take that back. Right here. And then just go down. Go. Yeah, go. Hit Control C, go Control C at the same time. Hit Control. And you get the paper machine. Right? Just get it done. So go to that thing. But it's something else. I got what it means. But the work you can put it so you can keep it going. Or what you could do, I don't know. It's basically right. Or what you could do, you can send now the thing about this, because you already got the drum pad and you got the drum pad, but you already got the piano roll, I mean, it's 32. Right? Where you got this, you can go right here and copy. And then let's say you want to do this, right? Let's say you want to do this. So another tip is this. Let's say you want to do another extra to follow all scores, right? So you can go right here, you can go to the copy, and go to this one, and you paste. So now you have two samples. I still say 30. So that's so this work. You want to get that. You want to get so what I would do. my ones, my threes, and six. So just follow this. This is the trauma. You can't really hear it on headphones with these speakers, kind of, but this is how you make it. You know, I'll just turn this up just I'll cut this and cut some. So you make I don't really make them like I cut these. You gotta cut them. Yeah, when I was younger, I used to make a lot of beats, and then I got shot and kind of just stopped everything. But I just cut samples of my cousin out the deep breaks. One of them raps one like beats. So what's cut samples? Like gave stuff so he could sample. So I cut it and everything. But that's just a sample and how you can do it. Yeah. The number one thing you make beats, you want, I'll leave it alone, keep this. But the number one thing you want to know is just basically what you're doing. So what your last beat you did, something that's bad, but all the drums are come together, so it's kind of sound like house music. There's nothing wrong with house music. That's not what you're trying to do. But hip hop, the drums is all about spacing. You want to space the drums all the time. So something like that, I got like 185, like Chris was about 8. Yeah, like these right here. Okay, so right, that's the one. So created two. No, so it's each one is different. So what it is let me see. So these are ones, twos, threes, fours, yep, 5, 6, 7, 8, right? I got only ones, 5s, and 8s, right? And then I got my snares right there, so your 3s and your 7s. With your hi-hats is filled every 2, so every 2-second step is filled with a hi-hat. So that's pretty much how you do something like that, right? Okay, so I want to do that. I can't get it. So you want to do what? I can go back. Go to instruments, we can drop down again. And then you go to the keyboard, the guitar, go to the keyboard. Then you go right click whatever piano you want to use. The grand piano, the 12 string, the Rhodes, just right click. I would just see how to do everything. Yeah, and right click to open a new channel. So the channel open. Boom. That's all. So then you can go there. And what you could do is right click it, hit paste. Yep. So now you have more piano saying, a trick. I don't have the plug-in. I'm going to tell you because they open up next is to make a bass line, and then your bass line follow that because that's not working for stuff. So let's be new. It's a trick. Saws. So I'm going to. So here it sounds like that, right? So trick that with you. Okay, I can't do it with this. But you put That's just I can go into settings. I can do it in here, but it's not the same. So I'm gonna try this. Settings. Yeah,
That's a good sign. I just
I was gonna try to do it, but I can't. What you can do is kind of like take out all the high end, keep the low end, and so it's just like yeah, yeah. But I can't do it. It's actually
that's what people just do that.
yeah,
Like when somebody rapping like the beat right again, it goes like to hard again, go back to like that. So that's the big one.
yeah. Well, that's the 808. So you put your headphones on. I put an 808 on. Right? There, clean 808. You'll hear that drum. It's clean. You just that's something. You know, people hear this. So, so, oh, it's okay. That bass. Yeah, that's the 808. And then you can do things.
So you can rap it on the song with that bass.
Not on these speakers. Not on these speakers. These
So I'm
speakers.
saying like in general, like if you just rap on just a bass beat, you can't really be able to use it. That's
Yeah,
like
yeah, you would, because that'll be part of mixing and mastering, right? That's when you once you done rapping, or like the artists do, or like when I was like in the studios, like home studio, so they would be in their home studio, they'll rap their song, do all of it, right? Take the track out, they'll track it out. So what that means is they're gonna take the giant song that you made, and everything will be tracked out. So when you go to the studio, show you actually right here. This right here. So this like track one, that'll probably be your voice, right? Track two, all your ad libs. Track three, probably your chords. Track four, your chords and ad libs and your chords, right? Track five, your drums. Track six, your 808. So that's the track of everything that you have.
yeah, they go down, so they're like it ain't.
Right. So you would take that track out to big studio, right? Or to another studio, an engineer. They'll take it, they'll listen to it, and they'll mix it down. They'll mix everything down, they'll mix and master it, so everything can be level. Certain things can be out in the open, so your voice is gonna be out in the open, so they hear that more. Your bass is gonna be kind of back, but it's gonna be right there under your voice. Like, that's or definitely you talking about mixing and mastering, right? That's right there.
So you know how to do that to like mix stuff.
I can do some mixing.
That's that one, but you don't want your focus.
Yeah, I was making beats. I can do some mixing because when you do production and when you go around like a lot of big studios, like I was in the C.L.I.C.K studios a lot, or I was in like C.R.C, or I was in the C.L.I.C.K studios, you pick up on things of what engineers like for you to do and what they don't like to do. So like with my drums, or my bass, I stopped using like a lot of enhancements that I used to use because it messed them up. So I would do that and I'll try to mix it myself a little bit. And then when I was like in the studio, they'd be like, oh, I see what you're trying to do. I got you. I'm like, yeah, I got you. So that's it mixing and mastering. But with drums, like with your drum pattern, like that's why I was trying to like draw that in your head because that is going to be one of the hardest things to kind of like get down pat. But once you get down pat, you'll be set. You'll be set. Once you understand drum patterns, everything else that I taught you will come into play. Now, it's 7:43, so you might be ready to wrap up. So for the next 2 weeks, I'm going to just have you work on your drum patterns. I'm just going to have you work on your beats. And then on week 6, 2 weeks from now, I want you to play me what you got, and then show me in front of the class what you got. Give you yay, nay. I'll do a little bit of a test real quick, and that'll be it. After that, the following week after that is when we go do Oxy fundamentals, right? So I want to teach you how to fix a computer some troubleshooting tips that I have learned throughout the years. So at the end of that class, it's going to be just a little small test, nothing too major. And if you're interested in that field, I would tell you what you can do next to go out into that workforce. Because the skills I'm going to teach you in that class is going to help you develop an interest, if you would like, into IT field and how to get an entry-level position into that field, right? And IT right now is huge. Everybody going to IT. They need people in IT. If you want to do what I do, which is software, hardware fixes, I'm not. So, like, if this broke, something inside broke, I can fix it, right? Right. I can figure out the problem. I can try to fix it, hardware, software wise. So hardware is the keyboard, like this keyboard not working, this trackpad not working, the screen is broken. Software is all the programs within the computer, right? So what I would do is teach you some tips and tricks that I have learned throughout the years. And like I said, if you're interested at the end of that class, I will tell you some things that you could do in the future of other classes you can take, some free classes. If you want to go to school, what school you should go to. Like I said, I know some free programs you can go if you want to establish yourself even more so in that field so you can get to a position. No, so for the next 2 weeks, work on your production, right? After that, we're gonna start an IT fundamental class. So, yeah. So it is 7:45. It's about to that time. Please go ahead and save what you have and sign out. If you have any questions, comments, and concerns, you can please reach me at aramis.singleton@clickservicesnfp.org. But if you see me before and after class, put me over to the side and I will help you out and answer the question the best that I can. But until then, I will see you all next week, and I will see you all on Friday for the streaming class. But until then, you all have a great night.